And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Popcorn and Politics, September 1st, 2018. I'm your boy, Jimmy Balls.
What?
I don't know. It just came to my mind.
That's absolutely insane because I know for a fact that you hate being called Jimmy. But the fact that you have just rolled that off your tongue, I think first of all, it shows that you're making massive strides with your own concept of the name Jimmy, because it's not a bad name, even though it's associated with some really bad people, like Jimmy Kimmel, for instance. I understand. I understand. Um, my one of my favorite memes was posted by Kanye West back in 2013, I think it was. It was a picture of it was that SpongeBob picture where he's making this face, where he's smiling and he's going like this, and he's making the rainbow, and it makes the hand, and it makes the rainbow with his hands, and the meme was just Jimmy Kimmel face, motherfucker.
Oh boy.
That's Kanye
Introduce
at the
yourself for the
moment.
audience, by the way. They don't know
Oh,
who
I'm
you
sorry.
are.
What?
They don't know who you are. Who's the
Oh,
audience?
I'm Dan.
There you are.
Um, I'm wearing a pink MAGA hat. Surprise.
In your pink mega hat. Your pink mega hat. All right, good. Well, welcome back. It's good to see you. We were talking about film criticism in The Last Jedi, and you were about to go on a roll.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to get really, really pretentious about film criticism because, it's easily film criticism and pretentious. Just the word pretentious in general are basically go hand in hand because like people love to, it's like the hipster, um, you know, uh, falsism or whatever, you know what I mean? Where like you're like, I'm not a hipster, but I'm a hipster, and I'm not cool, but I'm cool. It's this kind of like meta irony sort of thing that's like so dead now, by the way. That's so dead. But like I think it was totally such a prominent part of like the 2000s and kind of like what basically made culture kill itself and then go crazy and have to like create, like 50,000 different new genders and all that kind of stuff. So, film criticism.
Yeah, film criticism. It's interesting in itself because you're basically just dissecting someone else's work and deciding whether it's quality or not, or if you recommend it to other people that they spend their money. And I think there's two ways you can approach film criticism. You can approach it as I want to show the world how smart I am, or you could approach it as a consumer advocate.
Which I think most. Wait, what was the second one? What was the second one?
Approach film criticism as a consumer advocate, someone who is trying to make sure that people don't waste their money on garbage.
Well, right, but I mean, consumer advocate, that's so vague. Like, what's garbage? What one person may consider garbage, like I consider it to be awesome, and I want to own that on Blu-ray in the highest fucking quality I can find it and watch it over and over,
I
even
think
though it was clearly made on a very cheap camera with you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just about like the I don't know, it's just a piece of work, you know what I mean? Like B movies are a thing for a reason. So I kind of don't I think it's such a personal palette that the only thing you can really do is at least make an honest description of what you've seen, but maybe shy away from like how it made you feel, because then somebody who is interested in that particular piece of work may feel already emotionally manipulated before going in. And that's the one thing I don't like about reviews. Like, I like it when they say kind of like factual things that are just kind of like critical. Like, well, the narrative was told, with much, I don't know, man. These writers, they throw out their, especially like Pitchfork and whatever, they throw out their literary cocks, and they're like, oh, look at me. Um,
Well, you mentioned something that there is an aspect of okay, one man's trash is another man's treasure. That's absolutely true. But I think
which, yeah,
there's
which is
another level of objective quality. There is an objective quality to movies that you can say is good or bad. You can say the script is poorly written, and you can cite a number of things like what are you doing.
yeah.
But
Um,
so you no,
but at the core of every film, there's the way you feel about it. You know what I mean? It's always a personal experience. It's like you're looking through a lens.
Let me finish my point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's an objective quality to filmmaking that can be quantified as good or bad. You can say a script is good or bad based on how well it follows its own logic,
Right?
how well it structures its narrative. You can say pacing is good or bad objectively because it throws you out of the movie when the pacing is bad. You're looking at your clock, your watch, or whatever. Like, oh my god, I'm so bored. I want to get out of this. You could say that there's objectively bad acting as well.
Right. I think you and I have very different opinions on the acting of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Huh?
For instance, you and I have very different opinions on the acting of Leonardo DiCaprio. For instance, you know what I mean? Like that's a polarizing. We're on two basically like opposite ends of the spectrum as far as like how we view him as an actor. So, and we're just one example. You know,
the reason why here's the thing about Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not a good actor. He plays characters that are.
I wasn't asking for your opinion. I was just trying to add to your opinion to the point that you were trying to make. Like the fact that.
Let me finish the sentence.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So the thing about Leonardo DiCaprio, it's not that he's a good actor. He plays very, very easy characters to play. He's just got a lot of charisma, and his acting isn't. He doesn't really act. He's just Leonardo DiCaprio doing the Leonardo DiCaprio thing in every movie, and people like that. I happen to not like that, but you can't confuse that with being a talented actor. That's not the same as someone like a Tom Hardy who does these different roles, or a Christian Bale who really stretches himself and to do all these crazy different types of roles. I can't put Leonardo DiCaprio in that category. He's just a popular movie star. He's not a good actor. And that's where I think the objective qualities come into play. You can still say you like it, but you can't say he's a good actor.
Yeah. Well,
but it's not objective.
Yeah. I absolutely see where your objective qualities come into play there. But I think for a lot of the same reasons that you do not like him are some of the reasons why I do like actors like him and Al Pacino. And you put Tom Hardy's name in there, but I sort of feel almost the same way, you know, like Tom Hardy, you know, because that's the thing, like even as an actor, you can't help but like be yourself as much as you can, unless if you literally physically transform your body and the way that you speak and the way that you think, and you go deep method. And like deep method can either come off as like pretentious and like, buddy, like, okay, you're no Brando, or it could come off as like, oh, this is inspiring. Like I feel like I'm like you don't even have to think about that. Like as an actor you don't even think like this is inspiring. You just think you're in there with that person, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it makes it a lot easier. It's like I remember one time when I was a kid, I sat down at a table with this dude that looked like some kind of a mafia dude, and he was acting like a mafia dude. And then I very quickly realized it was some kind of like a Easter egg hunt type of thing that some business put on. But like, you know, for a minute there, like I just kind of slipped in and I just started doing like, you know, like I mean, I was like, what, in 18, 19 years old, like my best De Niro impression or whatever, my best like East Coast gangster type of voice, and just like kind of like slipped into that. And you know, like, it was very hard to do then, because like you could tell so much that this guy was just acting, and he's like, I'm playing a character, you know. But then when you see somebody like, you know, the age-old example, Daniel Day-Lewis, because it's so true, he just fucking is in that place, you know, like his eyes like are looking at you from that person's soul, you know what I mean? Like that's method acting. But, you know, not everyone's a method actor. Harry Dean Stanton was a method actor, you know, and he was a great actor. You know, he was so memorable and lovable. Like, you know, he had this kind of like fragility but strength about. He was like an old freight train. Harry Dean Stanton, God rest his soul. Wow.
But you know, that's the thing about, you know, I don't know, Tom Hardy. It was just an example that came off the top of my head. I think he's an actor. I don't think he's a great actor, but I think he's a very good actor. I think he's.
Well, have you seen Bronson?
No, I haven't. I've heard.
Well, that's why you don't think he's a great actor. As soon as you see that movie, you'd be like, "Oh wow, Tom Hardy's a great actor." And and Bronson was like 2007, 2008 or something like that. Like that was like late 2000s. I'm pretty sure, because it was before Drive.
I haven't seen it.
I'm just saying, like, you know, it was before like he did Bane. It was before, you know, like it was before Tom Hardy was like Tom Hardy, you
Right.
know. And now, like, look at him. He's going to be Venom, which looks pretty dope. But like, once again, I've noticed, like, I think Tom Hardy must have like herpes or something.
And he's always covering his face. Well, Venom's Sony announced it's going to be PG-13, right?
Is it really?
Yeah. All this time they were saying it was going to be rated R.
I know. Yeah.
Fucking chickened out at the last minute. No, I think that's going to tank that movie right there. I think whatever potential it had is pretty much gone with that decision.
It's the first nail in the Marvel Cinematic Universe coffin.
Yeah.
Because I see it coming, and I saw it coming as soon as they announced Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's Captain Marvel and it's a female character. It's because it's Brie Larson.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, she's in one of my favorite movies, Kong Skull Island. I love that movie, shamelessly. I think it's so dope and so much fun. And, like, she's kind of pretty, but she's also, like, just really unpleasant. You know, like inner, like, you could just feel this kind of, like, unpleasantness from her, you know? And that's kind of what I always felt from her. Like, especially at the award show when she didn't even clap for Casey Affleck and was, like, trying to make a whole statement about it. It's like, dude, like, don't Copernic this whole thing up, all right?
Yeah, she's like a real bitch.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. And the most convincing lines she delivers in the film are, like, the ones that are supposed to be kind of cunty, you know? Mm-hmm. She's like, anti-war photographer. You know, someone calls her a war photographer, and she says she's an anti-war photographer. And just the way she spits it, I'm like, oh, okay, so she didn't even have to act that one.
It's one of those moments you're like, oh, found the feminist.
I found the feminist. No, no, seriously, she's you know, so highly overrated. I didn't see Room, so I guess I really can't speak too much to
I heard that was good.
Her performances. I would like to see it. I wish that the twist had not been spoiled for me. I don't remember how I learned about that, but I wish I could go into that movie with a fresh mind and just accept it for what it is. But I don't know. I just really don't want to see her face. No offense, but I watch Kong Skull Island all the time, and it's a dope movie, and you should watch it. And if anybody's watching this right now, I hope you have seen Kong Skull Island and feel the same way. Is anybody watching?
Eventually.
Nobody? Huh?
I'll get around to it eventually, I'm sure. But so Black Klansman 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a big shock, right?
No, because it has the word black in the title.
Wow, crazy, huh?
Yeah, if there's a big Hollywood or Netflix movie or whatever that comes out, especially Netflix, and it has like black in the title or like something about white people in the title, then chances are it's going to get a highly favorable critical review. Yeah,
all the establishment corporate critics are going to give it high praise. Right. And I'm happy to probably believe that it's a pretty funny movie. It's probably fine. But 95% fine, you know? Like, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's that funny. Are you going to be laughing through 95% of the movie? Is it that funny?
Right.
Yes, you know. I watched recently Trains, Planes, and Automobiles again the other day.
Sure, classic. I haven't seen it, but I know it's a classic.
Laughing through 95% of that movie. I can honestly say, from beginning to end, that movie is a fucking killer in terms of just how funny it is. There are parts where you're falling on the ground dying. And I've seen the movie maybe 100 times, and it was still slaying after watching it recently.
But you know, James, on the same token, there's a lot of movies I feel that way about that you do not feel that way about. And I don't think I would probably feel that way about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I respect and appreciate a lot of like what is like classic humor or whatever, like at this point, like classic comedies and stuff. But like, like for me, I grew up with like 90s comedies, so like Bill Murray and like Adam Sandler, and like so that kind of like stupid slapstick type of humor, especially then going in a high school and then having like Andy Samberg and him on SNL and all that kind of stuff. Like, so that kind of stupid slapstick kind of sense of humor, but at the same time, it's like got some kind of like deep uh, social commentary in it. You know what I mean? Like in a really twisted way. That's sort of more of my style of humor.
Well, I
And
appreciate
I
that
don't think
kind of humor too. Like we were talking a couple weeks ago about SCTV. You know, it's SCTV is the same type of humor as Saturday Night Live, except it's actually funny.
except it's funnier to your tastes.
Well, no, it's just. I mean, it's the same style of humor though. So you know, you can't say it's all about style because it's really not. It really comes down to personal taste.
What you find funny. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean by style. You know, like, well, I guess taste is probably the better word than style, because yeah, style is what you present as the performer, and then taste is what you have as the observer or the viewer or the consumer or the experiencer, you know, the vessel that takes in the performance. Because ideally, you put on a performance so great, it's like holding a mirror up to yourself and you like learn something new about yourself. That's why I love rewatching movies, because even sometimes if I watch them back to back, like one day after the other, or even 2 times in a row, I'll feel differently. I'll have grown from my last experience and have learned things from my last experience watching this movie, you know, because it is like you get lessons, you know what I mean? Like if you're really like enjoying a film, you know, that was put there by somebody who wanted to say something, who wanted to give something, you know, like I just watched Alejandro Jodorowsky's The Dance of Reality, which is basically the story of his father in his hometown of Tocopilla. And
Coco Beware.
Tocopilla. It's called Tocopilla
Coco Beware. Got it.
in Chile,
In Chile.
and
Is it Turkey?
Chile or whatever. And it's so weird because he has his son play his father.
His father is his son.
Uh,
Dun, dun, dun.
And that plays into the narrative where his mother believed that Alejandro, or Alejandrito, as she always says, because she's like an opera singer, so she's always singing in this operatic voice. It's, man, I mean, you're somewhat familiar with Jodorowsky, so you have somewhat of an idea of how, like,
He's fucked up.
it's surrealism. It's surrealism, you know.
Uh-huh.
But it's poetic surrealism, and it's beautiful, man. And I'm so glad he's making movies again, because now, you know, in the digital age, it's so much easier to like make his vision come to life. And if only he could make Dune. Will he ever make Dune?
Will he ever make a movie as good as Black Klansman, though?
I'd have to see it.
I bet you it's not as good. It's like, I remember I saw Get Out. I really liked it too, but what did that get? Like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes? Like that's ridiculous. You know,
dude, it's a pretty perfect movie though.
I liked it a lot. Don't get me wrong. It harkens back to a lot of old school comedy that I really like. And
yeah, it reminded me of like early 90s, like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, but like in a kind of more like stylized way, modernized, stylized way.
Yeah, but you know, still, it's like whatever it got, it was, you know, I don't know. It just seems to me that we like to inflate these things because a lot of critics, they pretend they're talking about themselves when they're talking about movies. Like they don't want to be seen a certain way, or they want to put themselves in a
certain light, right?
You know, and how they're, you know, what their opinion they're giving is reflective of how they want to be seen, rather than their actual art that they were doing.
Exactly.
That's the way it feels to me.
Dude, and you know what? Okay, I have the best. Okay, so there's a Key and Peele skit that I think personifies this kind of mentality so well, because I watched it with somebody and I'm like, oh my god, this perfectly like describes like this whole like Reddit internet person. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's a whole breed of like person that is like an internet person. You know what I mean? Like if you go to like the comment, or not to the comment section of Reddit, but like, you know, if you go to Reddit and just read through those threads and like see a lot of like the same old like slang, same old circle jerk type of format of conversation, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, that's Reddit for you. The whole system
Reddit
of Reddit is made for that. It's made for people to be exactly the same. You know, like no dissenting opinions allowed. It gets downvoted into oblivion, and no one sees it.
right. And now scrolling through it, like I remember when it used to just be like cats and like political articles about like, you know, like, hey, let's, you know, protect net neutrality and da da. Because I mean that's been an issue for a while. Rest in peace. Which, hey, by the way, for the first time, I've been affected by it noticeably.
What happened?
I was searching for an album cover, and the website that it was from, it the what was it called? ASN was blocked. So Frontier, like my internet provider, like has been blocked entirely from accessing that website because they probably don't pay for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I finally noticed my first instance of a post net neutrality world. That and like I just kind of feel like in general my shit has been slower, but that might be because I bought a fucking Android and Android is anti-human. I really believe Android is anti-human, and Google is anti-human.
Wow. Well, you know, I don't know. There's something to be said.
I probably shouldn't be saying that on live, but
there's something to be said about regulating the internet like a public utility, especially with all the censorship that's been going on lately.
Dax, come here, bud. Come here. Sorry, it's got a fucking fun. Dax, come here, bud. No, please keep going. Yes, there's so much censorship, and I do want to get to that because, like, I mean, first of all, it's been happening, and it's been happening, and it's been happening, and now it's happening more and more and more, and it's snowballing, and it's real shit that is actually happening. But the thing is, the mainstream news is not reporting on it, so it's not becoming a big deal like Black Lives Matter. You know, that's why there's no conservative voices matter movement. You know, because it's not cool and trendy. You know, you can't put that on a wristband and you know, seem like you're some kind of a folk hero. You know, but you know what makes me feel like a folk hero?
MAGA.
My pink MAGA hat.
Pink
you know, you know what made Kanye West a folk hero?
Huh?
His pink polo shirt.
Is that what did it?
That was one of the things. That, maybe his backpack, maybe the fact that he said that George Bush doesn't care about black people, maybe the fact that he was a producer who was always told that he could never become a rapper, who became a very extremely successful Grammy Award-winning rapper.
Eminem.
Yeah. Fuck Eminem.
Yeah.
He put out a new album. I don't give a shit. That album cover was like a play on a Beastie Boys album cover for License to. Was it License to Ill? No, it wasn't License to Ill. It was. Fuck. I don't know. It was like their very first one. It was produced by Rick Rubin. Dope ass record. It's one with like all the early hits. You know.
Huh.
So I'm like, okay, so Eminem has gone full lazy. You know, I'm sorry, I'm picking my nose live. Jeez.
Well, you know, yeah. Well, so broke. Like they say, aren't his sales in the shitter right now?
Well, yeah, because he literally said, like, I'm drawing a line in the sand. If you like Trump, fuck you in the butt. You know, which is not what he said, but like honestly, it would have been probably better if he had just said that because it was corny. You know, and listen, Eminem has done corny, and like I don't mind corny. I actually don't like the word corny because I think we need to get it out of our cultural lexicon. I think we need to stop saying that things are corny because just because something is corny doesn't mean it isn't true or feels good at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's why, like, you know, when people like cringe at certain things, I'm like, bro, that's just somebody having fun. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you're cringing because somebody is having fun really just kind of says a lot about you and how you feel.
Start
where your head's at.
Ban corny.
Start a what?
Start a hashtag ban corny.
Ban corny.
Ban corny.
Don't ban nothing. I ain't about banning. That's a bad thing. It's a slippery slope, man. Don't ban shit.
No, I agree. Don't ban shit. You know, just like freaking.
Just put it in his pocket.
I'm a big fan of social pressure and shaming, as long as it's for the right cause. But speaking of fucking political correctness ruining franchises, what about Star Wars? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Didn't this whole thing start because of Star Wars? Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Star Wars. Okay,
what's your speculation for Episode 9? What are they gonna do?
Okay, so before I heard a lick of information about like any kind of rumors or anything like that. Hold on a second. Let me get Dexter. He's got this fucking. But listen, this is why just. Did you listen to me? Huh? All right. This is Dex.
Oh, hi, Pop.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, boy?
Dex. Say what's up, bro. Dex, say what's up, bro.
He's like, oh, that's hot.
Hey, Dax, can you say, what up, fam? Come on, Dax. Come on, I know you can do it. Just say, Dax, just look right in the camera. Just look right.
Hi, Dax.
Say, what up, fam?
Oh.
He's distracted. He hears voices out in the woods.
So,
anyways,
have you heard about the 3 casting calls that have come out for Star Wars Episode 9?
Oh, okay. So, yes, I have something to say about that, but not that specifically. Right out the gate, let's take it back. Let's take it back to before we knew very much about The Last Jedi. One of my first warning signs that The Last Jedi was going to be a problem was the fact that they were hiring so many new actors. I'm like, wait a second. We have barely gotten to know like our main 3, which is what we thought we were going to get. We thought we were going to get another trio, and maybe a couple of them would be in love or something. Who knows, huh? Which I think they're going to do.
Poe, Rey, and Finn, I assume. Yeah. Finn, Rey, and Poe.
Finn, Rey, and Poe, right? And then
Finn.
And then in the second story, we don't focus on them at all.
Yeah.
We hardly get anything. We get key moments of their lives, but they're not earned. Like Finn's death, while that setup was beautiful, he didn't die. They didn't kill him. But that moment would have been so gorgeous, and he wouldn't have deserved it.
Yeah.
But in the theater, when I was watching that for the first time, that was the only time in the theater so far, aside from that really fucked up Leia scene. Like, dude, how sick is that? Like, what they did,
With Leia?
It's sick.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous in every possible way. I can't imagine Carrie Fisher being cool with that at all. Like, if she had been around to talk about it after the fact, I'm sure we would have heard something.
No. Wait, about the Last... I'm talking about Last Jedi.
Yeah, I'm talking about her Mary Poppins thing. Like,
like, did she not know about that?
I don't know. Like, I would like to know if that's something they just did in post, or if that's something that was actually in the script that she was cool with, or something like, or maybe like I don't know. Like,
well, yeah, I don't know. I would like to know the true story of what happened behind the scenes of The Last Jedi. Not the bullshit like that's been released on camera, like where Rian Johnson goes up to Mark Hamill's like, "Hey, you want to know what the name of the movie is?" I'm gonna tell you the name of the movie. It's gonna be a big moment. Check it out. Let's be really far away. Let's make this look really epic. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you The Last Jedi. Oh, that's cool. Great. Yeah, dope.
That's a perfect Rian Johnson voice you did there. That's good. Rian Johnson, he's like one of those people that smells like sour milk all the time. You stand near him and you're like, ew, what's that smell? And you can't quite figure it out.
Is he the type of guy that also might have like an underlying, like, kind of like peanut funk about him?
Yeah, it seems gross. Have you seen his girlfriend? You know who she is?
I saw a picture of them dressed up as characters from Twin Peaks, like during Halloween last year or something like that. And I'm like, oh, dope. This movie's going to be great because this guy loves Twin Peaks. But I'm like, oh, no, this guy is a hack fraud who like has watched Rashomon and like a couple Lynch films.
Well, his girlfriend is really high up in the film critics circle.
Well, now it all makes sense.
Yeah, and
Wow, now I'm really glad we started this conversation about film criticism.
And not that Rian Johnson could do much better anyway, but it's clear that this is a business relationship as well as, like a personal relationship, I'm sure. But
Right,
I think that accounts for a lot of the critical reviews that came out for Last Jedi. It has to.
Yeah, they definitely have a PR, a personal relationship. That's their PR.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about their PR.
Yeah. So yeah, Last Jedi.
Personal relationship.
I mean, I think it's pretty much universally agreed at this point that it sucks. It's a terrible movie. It ruined any potential The Force Awakens might have set up.
Yeah. I don't think universally for some strange reason, but like the majority is kind of like either on board with it or like or on board to be against it, or like struggling to accept that it's really awful, but it's really awful.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think
it guts the franchise. It takes all the magic out of what it was. I still felt the magic in Force Awakens. It still felt like this could be my Star Wars. And by my Star Wars, I mean our Star Wars. And it's just the way that you take it, right? It doesn't have to be what I want to happen. I never cared about that. I just don't want to see, first of all, the same thing happen all over again. And like, come on, like, what about the big moment where our big three get back together and this new big three have a thing? Like, why don't we get back? That's why I was so psyched earlier today. I watched the new trailer for The Predator, Shane Black's The Predator.
Yeah.
Which I'm hyped about this movie. All right. I saw this trailer, and at the end of the trailer, it brought back that old like 90s voice, like, in cinemas, September 14th. You know what I mean? Like that classic, like, man, I feel excited about it. I feel like there's going to be fun characters, a lot of jokes, and it's going to be silly, and like, it's going to be dope. There's going to be some crazy Predator madness, and
we'll see. I don't know.
Did you see the trailer that came out like last night or whenever it was? Yesterday? No?
But I saw the other one, and I remember thinking, I didn't think much of it. It didn't look bad, didn't look great. It was just like, didn't do much for me. But I need to check out the new one, apparently, huh?
Yeah, the new one's a lot more well done. I felt like the other trailers were kind of like awkwardly put together. Like, I kind of get what they're kind of going for. Like, they have the kid playing with the ship at the beginning, which I thought like harkened back to like first or Close Encounters of the shit.
Come on,
I'm a bad film fan
of the Close Encounters.
Close Encounters, the Spielberg film, and it had a little bit of that, like it had a little bit of like a Spielberg like feel in general.
Come on,
of the third kind.
Of the third kind. Yes.
What is it, Jeopardy?
Yes. You need to know your movie names, sir. What do you think this is? Kindergarten? You think this is a feminist bubble?
Truth be told, I have watched that movie in full once in my life, and it was the day in high school when I didn't have to take the WASL because I'd taken the WASL, and they're like, well, we don't know what else to fucking make you guys do, so how about you just go into the theater, and this teacher who's like a super big film nerd is gonna tell you how dope Spielberg is. I'm like, all right, cool. I like Spielberg. I haven't seen this movie. I'm down.
That's fine. It's probably, I'd say, one of Spielberg's better, more underrated movies. Back when he was at the top of his game, I really like it.
It surprised me, like how timeless it felt. Like, even though like it was so dated and like these characters were from the 70s, like I felt like any of these people could have existed, like today.
Because that's the thing about that movie. It's not about the aliens. It's about the humans. It's about the people. Mm-hmm. Aliens are just a plot device. Like they're just there to move the storyline forward. It's really all about these people.
Well, they're the Deus Ex Machina that we're chasing.
Yeah.
That we're actively chasing through the whole movie. You know what I mean? Usually there's a Deus Ex Machina that comes in and saves the day that you don't think about, and it's just like, oh, hey, surprise, gonna make this work. But no, we're actively looking for that big Pandora's box. We're actively like trying to be like, what the fuck is going to happen, you know? It's just a big old question mark, you know? And that's what makes that movie so universal, I think, because like it could symbolize anything, like that humanity is chasing, not necessarily alien life, but like some sort of like.
What if Ryan Johnson had, instead of trying to be a hipster piece of shit, had like tried okay, you want to make a different type of Star Wars movie. Awesome. I think most people are on board with that. But it's got to be good, right? So, like, emulate something like Close Encounters, you know? Like, come up with a really good, like, story where these characters, you know,
that's not
feeling,
the right, I get what you're saying, but that's not the right way to look at it. Here's a question that I was asking myself earlier. Who, if I were Kathleen Kennedy, you know, if I had that job, if I could start from day one and be like, okay, we're going to do a new Star Wars trilogy, picking up, you know, 30 years, however long after Return of the Jedi, and all the original cast is going to be in it, and we need to pick 3 directors that aren't George Lucas that are going to write and direct it along with our brain trust team, you know, like we are the storytellers, you know, in which case they shouldn't have hired fucking Pablo Hidalgo. They should have just hired, what is his name, Filoni, who's been doing Clone Wars for years, who's been George's closest creative partner.
Hidalgo has been part of the story group. He's been a member of the story group throughout the whole Last Jedi, all that stuff. So,
well, he's obviously got his you know, his nuts in a pocket. Then every time a certain somebody comes into the room.
Well, you know, that's the thing. Like, as long as Kathleen Kennedy was in charge, it was never going to be good. No director would have had the creative freedom to make a good Star Wars movie. It had to be an agenda-filled fans, because that's what Kathleen Kennedy felt. She felt fans were so stupid, they'll put up with anything, and they can capture this other market that will, you know, make up for whatever attrition they get. And she completely misguessed how that was going to go.
Because, listen, all right, we're how many months now past the release of The Last Jedi, and I like that movie less and less and less and less. Even the little things that I did enjoy about it, I'm starting to like lose any kind of appreciation for. Yeah. Because it just it doesn't feel like a Star Wars film. It just feels shallow, and it feels like it was put together in a room of people wearing suits. You know what I mean?
It's a movie that hates you for caring. It's like the constant subversion.
It's very antagonistic against the viewer. Yeah.
You know, like you can subvert things once in a while if you have a good idea, but to constantly do it over and over again, you're basically telling the audience that they're a bunch of assholes for giving a shit about the stuff you told them to give a shit about.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know how to feel about the whole Leia scene because, like, dude, you watch her get sucked out of that thing. And, like, a part of you is like, okay, well, I've seen the trailers. I know I've seen things that haven't happened yet, but, like, maybe that was a misdirect, you know? And then it's like, nope, this is a misdirect. Like, this moment where you're trying to feel emotional because you've just watched this beloved character of yours get sucked out into space and you think that, she's met her doom. And now, oh, here we go. Let's zoom in on her face while she's freezing to death. But, oh, wait. Gotcha. I love that review. I forget who it is, but they do that review and they go through every moment where it's like that. And it's like, oh, but wait, gotcha. And they nail it because that's exactly what it feels like watching this movie. It feels like getting slapped in the face with a bunch of gotchas. Like, oh, look at me. Look at how I tricked you. Oh, you're going to feel emotional? Well, gotcha.
Like a chick giving you a hand job for like 20 seconds and then smacking you in the face. And then another 20 seconds, smack. Well, I don't know. Some people like that, I guess, but
you know, somebody telling you a certain beloved one was dead and like let you cry about it for like 30 seconds. Then was like, I'm totally kidding. No, they're fine. You dummy.
Yeah.
You and then it's you crying. You stupid.
No, and then they have the relative walk in, and as soon as you get over the fact that they're alive again, then your buddy goes and shoots your relative in the face, killing them. And he's like, "Ha, gotcha! You thought they were okay after I told you they were dead, but now they're really dead." That's
no. Instead of shooting them, it wouldn't be that. It would be like they get some like old German doctor to like sneak up behind him and like put a needle in him and slowly like lift his head up and like tell him to look at the flowers or something like that. That was a reference to so many different things. Shutter Island, Walking Dead, which is a terrible show.
Well, I've said it 100 times, but I think any idiot could have written a better Star Wars trilogy than what JJ and Johnson came up with. And it just goes to show how out of touch they are with the sense of adventure that people love about Star Wars, the thing that makes Star Wars so unique among, everything. It's that sense of excitement and adventure. Like you're wondering what's going to happen next, and you're at the edge of your seat, and it's fun and exciting. And they have no concept of that because I don't think they have an understanding of why people love movies like a real artist should, or even, I don't know. You have to have a certain love for something if you're going to do a good job at it. And J.J. Abrams always said he was a Star Wars fan, but after watching The Force Awakens and depriving everyone of the opportunity to see Luke, Leia, and Han together in one scene, I'm not convinced he's a Star Wars fan.
Right, exactly.
It seems to me that would have been like the first thing you thought of. Let's get these three characters back on screen together.
But I wonder whose call that really was at the end of the day.
And that may be a Kathleen Kennedy thing behind the scenes. I wouldn't put it past her to say, you know what?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe I get JJ was probably on board with killing Han. He was like, all right, yeah, we can kill Han. But he probably wanted all three of them in a scene together. Because, dude, imagine being the guy who gets to direct that scene, right? How do you not want to be the guy that directs that scene? If you love Star Wars,
He has addressed that, though. And what he said was, we tried to bring Luke into the story earlier, but as soon as he came into the story, it became a lot more interesting, and we lost all the focus on the other characters. Because all we wanted to
focus on the other characters. Yeah. That's right. I remember that statement. But what focus on the other characters?
So they purposely kept Luke out of it for that reason, which I think is a bullshit reason.
It's such bullshit, yeah.
If you're a good writer, you can do that. If you just write good characters and they won't be so overshadowed by Luke. It's just that simple. The problem is they had no fucking clue what they were writing with Finn.
It's just Luke was just so good, we just couldn't use Luke. And then in the second movie, it's like, this is Luke's movie. Luke is the star. And then it's like, yeah, he's a grumpy asshole. And then you don't see him much after the second. You don't see him much in the second act, honestly. What even is no, fuck all that. Here's the question that I really, 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 really want to ask, because this is what I asked myself earlier, and I could only come up with one out of the three. So, beginning of the trilogy, we're bringing together a brain trust. Some of the OGs are on board, like Kirshner and all that. There's no Kathleen Kennedy, there's no agenda. Just get to sit down, pick your favorite three directors to pick to direct each of these movies, first, second, and third. The only one that I know for sure in my heart and soul I would hire and want to see follow through is Denis Villeneuve for the second film in the trilogy. Other than that, it's a big fucking open ball game.
Never ever worked for Disney. Not in a million years. There's no way he would work for Disney.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh, no, you make a good point. I mean, Scorsese did eventually, right? Hugo? Wasn't Hugo a Disney film?
Huh?
Yeah, but it's Scorsese, and he's old. Villeneuve still has got a reputation to uphold. He just did a Blade Runner movie, which is fucking incredible, by the way. And also, probably, at my front door. Whoa, what did I do?
Well, so predictions for episode 9. I want to talk about the predictions. I want to talk about the casting calls that have been made public, and it's really and I'm going to just kind of summarize them up real quick. People can look them up if they want, but it's basically this: female, age 18 to 24, strong, confident, sense of humor, sure of herself, stays cool under pressure, diverse. The next one, female.
Diverse.
Diverse. Yeah, that's all it says. And I'm summarizing, but that's basically what it says. And the next one is female, 30 to 35. Strong, confident, cool under pressure, has a sense of humor, diverse. The next one, female, 40 to 50 years old. Strong, confident, smooth under pressure, has a great sense of humor. And this one is not, it doesn't say diverse. What does it say? It says there was like another term they used that was like just
In,
anti. It was like it might as well have just said non-white. It was something like that. But it didn't say diversity.
indigenous.
Yeah, no, not indigenous, but
That would have been
basically,
embarrassing
what
if
they're
they used
doing,
indigenous.
they're introducing three more Mary Sues by the sound of it. Like these
Yeah.
characters sound like they're utterly perfect in every way. Never going to have a problem and be badasses, and so
Right.
it's like, okay, cool.
So exactly, coming back to the point I was making, like way too many characters, first of all, and that's a huge warning sign. It's like, no, what the fuck is going on? Stop adding all these different people, especially why have all these ethically diverse, like you could tell it's basically just like, oh, we gotta fill all these boxes for people to be happy. It's not becoming about the story, it's becoming about the agenda, and it's clearly still continuing to be that, even though Kathleen Kennedy may or may not be out of the picture. Like, I really think that something agenda driven is pushing these movies forward, and it's very unfortunate because, listen, we'll never have another opportunity for Carrie Fisher to play that character again.
Well, that's fine. They're going to recycle a bunch of old footage and shoehorn her in somehow.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, even if we do, like, start clean, like, say, like, listen, whoops, we're sorry. Like, get a video of Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy on a fur rug in front of a fire.
Oh, we're sorry. Well, I wonder, do you think they're going to CGI Leia's clothes in episode 9, or are they just going to, like, have her wear the same shit she was wearing in the other two movies and just hope we don't notice?
Well, I mean, we'll obviously notice. Star Wars fans notice everything. But I think I'm afraid that they'll alter her clothes. I think they should just leave her clothes what they are. And if they change any of her dialogue, it should not be... They're probably going to try and change some of the dialogue.
Oh, do you think they'll get a voice actor in there to try and mimic her?
I think so. And
like, okay, so Luke, what we need to do is... I could do it.
Oh, man.
I got a perfect Carrie Fisher. we need to get the rebellion together. I hate to be mean, but she sounded awful. I mean, we got to be real.
I mean, we got to be real. The thing is, yeah, I wouldn't be that mean because I do love Carrie Fisher. I think she was a wonderful human being.
Her too,
and I love her spirit and her soul. But the thing is, it's just seeing her as Leia in that movie didn't feel like watching Leia. That's not who Leia would have grown up to be.
No, well, none of those characters were, in all fairness. And I'm sure.
I don't know, man. I think Harrison Ford is still pretty much Han Solo. Like, he's still kind of like that guy. He literally fucking crashed in an airplane.
Yeah.
Before the show.
He could have played it as if he was given a decent script, but
yeah. No, but he just wanted to, take his cut and run and be like, that's it for Han Solo. No more Han Solo.
He didn't care. Like, he wasn't a fan. He's just something he wanted to get done and finally get killed off.
If he wanted to, yeah,
exactly. Can do that. You can
kill Han Solo. He's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
He's the best part of the movie. Like, he is why that movie still has that Star Wars, like, spirit. Like, The Last Jedi has zero of that Star Wars spirit because Rey doesn't have any of that heroism because she's just always been good at everything. Like, she's like, I don't have a family. And we're like, yeah, well, you know what? Go to an orphanage, hang out with those kids, Tell them your sob story. you know, like we don't feel anything like for Rey because she doesn't really struggle. And it's so unfortunate because, like, I think Daisy Ridley's a very talented actress, like no, for real, she's really, I mean, like, she really fucking won me over. Oh, come on. You're like that Key and Peele skit guy right there. She is a great actress. I mean, she's kind of a character actor in a lot of ways, but she's very believable, I feel.
Okay.
Really?
I haven't seen her in anything else, but her performance in Star Wars is terrible.
Well, the only other thing she's done is Murder on the Orient Express, which is a fantastic movie, if not just for the mustache on. Oh my God! What's his name? He's Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, I like Kenneth Branagh.
Dude, Kenneth Branagh plays the detective. I forget his name, but in the Agatha Christie novel, the mustachioed detective who talks like this, and he's French, and he's got a big mustache, and Johnny Depp is in it, and so fucking funny,
Huh.
dude. It's got such a stacked cast. It's unbelievable. Like,
I'll check it out.
it's really
Check it
good.
out.
It's a really good movie, and I mean, Daisy, she she does well. She's like another, like, she honestly is like just another one of these, like, kind of like Keira Knightley, like, type of, I'm that British blonde that's like, I can like cry really well, and like I've got a personality and people like me because I've got a big old smile,
Yeah.
which is my Daisy Ridley impression, and I think it's very accurate. Because I mean, yeah, I mean, she's just like.
Compressor. How's
I
that?
thought I thought she did great. That sounds a lot better, but I did think she did great in The Force Awakens. I thought she was, emotive and expressive in a very believable way, and that's the only thing that really gave Rey any character. Like, I can kind of feel the person she is because of just the person who Daisy Ridley is, kind of like actually going through this, because
I
it was
wonder
more
how much
like.
of that is manipulation by the direction, though, because I don't think that's credited to Daisy Ridley. If you felt anything, okay.
Well, did you see her audition tape?
No.
Well, there you go. Yeah, watch that, and like
Was
that
she
gives
like,
you an
I
idea.
bypassed the compressor, and they're like, you're hired.
So you have seen it.
um,
No,
so
no,
how
it's
do you
it's a
save her
great scene.
character in episode 9? What happens to her? What do we do with her if we were writing it?
Okay, so well, of course she would be tempted to the dark side, not by Vader, because Vader would not be able to communicate to her, because you can't. You can't communicate through the Force, through the dark side. It's something that you can only do on the light side, which is why Kylo has only sometimes been able to speak to Anakin Vader, but when
Anakin's light
his
side. He turned light side before he died. He got a Force Ghost.
dude, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing that really fucking is dope, because like a lot of the things that I wanted to happen, I wrote a like a outline for a movie called Star Wars Episode 9: Rise of the First Order.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. It's a good one. It's a good one too, because it's basically like Ray at the very beginning. Okay, holy shit. So the way I want it to start is like Kylo Ren it's like 5 years later. Kylo Ren has basically actually been a pretty fucking good leader.
Yeah.
Like, he's been, making a lot of money for the galaxy, and like actually kind of he's letting some people like just kind of like live their lives. He's been more of like a libertarian than like a hardcore,
Okay.
like, fascist type of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Uh,
so he's not like the evil entity that we expected, because he's killed Snoke.
cool.
That evil
That-
influence, right?
yeah.
That evil influence isn't like with him as much. So he's trying to get more in touch with like Anakin. Like, so one of the first scenes in the film, we see him like in his throne room or whatever, like, or in a room trying to communicate with Anakin. I don't know if he still has the helmet of Darth Vader or not, but maybe he'll like turn away from it or something. Because at first, he'll be speaking to Vader, 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 and then he'll have like a breakdown. Like, I want it to be like an emotional scene. Like, I want to start really early. Like, Kylo Ren is a broken man. Like, he's successful and he's making a lot of people very happy, but something has him like broken and torn apart. So I want him to literally be fucking sobbing, and then like turn his head, and then like cry out the name Anakin, and then like slowly, like, you see a blue light start to emerge on his face.
Uh-huh.
But his eyes are like, he's looking down and he's weeping, and then like as soon as he looks up, the fucking doors to his chamber open up, and it's what's his fucking name? Ryan Johnson's doppelganger, that's tall and is kind of like Hitler, and
Jump.
he's a really great actor. The actor's name is Domhnall Gleeson. He's in The Revenant. He's in Ex Machina. He's in a bunch of movies, and he's fucking brilliant.
Denholm Elliott.
Domhnall Gleeson. Holy shit! What is his fucking character? The First Order, like, I am. He's like the Tarkin. What's his fucking name? Do you remember his name? Admiral Hux. So Admiral Hux and the Knights of Ren storm into Kylo's chambers and announce a mutiny because of reasons that are to be explained later, but we'll realize that Hux has a lot more influence than we had thought that he did.
Gotta portray Hux as like serious. He can't be the bumbling dumbass. Like,
that's what I'm saying. They fucked him up so bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I watched The Last Jedi, I laughed at some of his silly ass moments, but at the same time, my soul died a little bit because I'm like, man, like Hux, like he was like a significant part of The Force Awakens. He's like, okay, this is gonna be like our Tarkin, but he doesn't die in the first one. You know, like like, okay, I'm on board with this. And then we see him first thing in The Last Jedi, and he's made to be a little ragdoll, you know, verbally and physically. And it's so stupid.
Your mom joke and all that shit. Like, he's just made to look like an idiot.
But the thing is, the way I'm gonna play it is that like he really had a secret like allegiance with Snoke. He knew something that Kylo didn't. Like maybe he, after Snoke died, maybe Hux was the only link to like the financial support that gave them what they were. Like maybe he was the only one that Snoke trusted with that. Like he didn't even tell Kylo.
What if Hux like recruits the Knights of Ren for his purposes, and they're all Force sensitive?
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like they rally with them. They're like, yeah, I don't like the way Kylo's going with this. He's being like too peaceful. Like, you know, like we need to go out there and we need to conquer and we need to liberate, you know, as they think it is, you know, like what a fucking amazing narrative would that be? Where like the ones who are like the kind of like, they're like the rebels within the Empire that are fighting the Empire, but like at the same time, there's a resistance that's fighting them. But the resistance at this point has been winning. Right. More people are on their side. Well, so that's why a lot of people.
You know how you said that Kylo running the place wasn't necessarily a dictator. He was kind of libertarian in his thoughts, and that could be the point of contention Hux has with them. He says, "No, we need to squeeze these people." You know. You know, and he could have the Knights of Ren with him, and they could all have red lightsabers now or something, and then it would really make him the underdog, you know. And
dude, and if you want to add an extra layer of fairy tale gothic to this, they will come after him while he's in Vader's tower, meditating, trying to reach Vader on Mustafar, right?
Oh, shit.
Right, so they've already got the lightsabers lit and everything, so they look like pitchforks.
Yeah,
like they're coming after Frankenstein. Like they're going up to Dracula's castle to get Frankenstein, and it's, you know, like for real, yo, Disney, hire me, cancel this movie.
Let's save this franchise.
Let's save this franchise. Let's make Star Wars great again. You know, like for real. Like that's what they're going for. Like they want to do like a fairy tale romance kind of thing, and that's fine. Like I would actually kind of like to see that in Star Wars. You know, it's kind of like heartwarming and uplifting. Like look at like if Reylo actually happens.
You know, having them storming Vader's castle would also be kind of like reminiscent of Anakin storming the Jedi Temple in Revenge of the Sith. It would be kind of like you'd have your poetry there again, you know.
The poetry, exactly. So it's his guardians, his people, his guardians and his first mate turning against him in his most sacred place.
Yeah.
And then he is forced to evacuate. So he ends up escaping to an escape pod, like without his lightsaber. Like he ends up losing his lightsaber somehow. No. Oh, dude, what if he loses his fucking hand?
He loses his hand and his lightsaber. Yeah.
In like the first scene, like as he's trying to escape.
Yeah.
Like
he has to construct a new one later, and it's like a golden blade or something like that. Like something, a new color, you know?
I knew, yeah. Oh my God, dude. Dude, oh man, we are writing the dopest Star Wars movie right now. Like this will literally redeem like everything else. Like because if we've been teased about Knights of Ren and then we got nothing from them in the second movie. Like I don't want no fucking origin story for the Knights of Ren now.
No.
You know what I mean? Like we're in the final chapter, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like you literally gutted your story to waste your time on some kind of agenda about how greed and greed in the military-industrial complex and mistreatment of animals and somehow, weirdly enough, to a much lesser extent, the slavery of children. Like they kind of like really brushed over that. We're like,
That's
yeah,
weird.
kids are slaves.
The animal aspect and totally glossed over the human aspect.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like they did kind of gloss over that, but they really focused on those animals.
Yeah.
And to me, that sends a very weird mixed message,
Like,
where it's like, what are you really trying to say? Yeah, exactly. Like when you try to say like so many just empty, rhetorical, positive things at once, you end up saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to focus on like one thing at a time. And this story isn't a story. It goes nowhere. It's a slow car chase that has a bunch of things that happen in the middle, but ultimately none of it is all that memorable or exciting or
it's not memorable because there's no
captivating.
consequence to any of it. None of it matters.
None of it matters, right?
Fast forward past all of it and you'd miss nothing.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, surprise, subverted, like...
Because that's the thing. For some reason, they felt like it had to be like, all right, this has to be an immediate follow-up. This is the next minute. This is exactly what is happening right now, next. And it's like, no, bro. Like, listen, like, Rey could be on the island for like a month. And like, Finn, he could be recovered by now. Like, we don't need that stupid scene of him in his...
You know why that happened is because Rian Johnson wanted that shot of Luke Skywalker tossing the lightsaber over his shoulder.
But no, the thing is,
that's the whole reason for that no time skip.
You can still do that, but not, but then include the time skip after that.
Or just have that shot in a flashback or something. I don't know. Like,
no, because I don't think it necessarily has to be 100% linear. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, even though it's always been a linear narrative, and in this sense, I think it would be, as long as, like, it's literally the first thing that we see.
Yeah.
But,
and then have a montage afterwards showing the passage of time, and then you're on track, yeah.
But the problem with that is, there's also the issue of, the basic rules of starting a Star Wars film. Opening crawl. Pan down, we see a ship and a planet, not necessarily both at the same time, not necessarily both, but at some point we'll see at least a ship and then maybe a planet within the same shot, right? Basic rules. Basic fucking rules. Yes. So, somebody is coming after Rey on Ahch-To. And she's coming to get Luke. She comes to get Luke, and Luke sees it, and he sees the lightsaber. Wow, I've actually never really thought about this. But for, one thing or another, the other party ends up getting there. Either there's a big old fight in the beginning. Like, why not have this be the dopest movie ever with the coolest fucking lightsaber fights? And like, dude, there was no lightsaber fight in this movie.
No. And
not a real one.
Like, we only see the green lightsaber in a flashback. Even when he's doing his force projection and fighting Kylo, it's a blue lightsaber.
Blue.
And I think that is specifically done as a fuck you to the fans. It could have so easily been the green one. And Rian Johnson knew the fans wanted to see Luke holding the green lightsaber. And they purposely made it blue just to say fuck you. That is the only reason to make it blue. There's no reason for it.
And you know what? Isn't that the same reason? Dax, bud, please, shut your mouth. Please, buddy. Listen, people yell, dogs bark. Dax, you don't have to join in the cacophony. He's a good boy. He's just, he likes to join into the conversation, and so do I. So I don't blame him. Like father, like son, right?
I'm annoyed about the lightsaber thing too.
I mean, dude, really, like, listen, like, yeah, the prequels were overkill with lightsaber fights, but like Force Awakens, like, barely had them. We had like the big one at the end, and like, was there anything else?
Yeah, which was
There was
kind of a bullshit.
They used it, like Finn used it, yeah, and we thought Finn was going to be the next big, Force wielding Jedi lightsaber.
They should
Like
have gone with that. They should have totally gone.
They should have gone with it. Yeah.
There's no reason why both Finn and Rey couldn't have been Force sensitive. There's no reason why. Like, if you take half of Rey's power and give it to Finn, you might actually have two well-balanced characters.
Like, don't give Rey a lightsaber until the third movie, where she gets a double-bladed lightsaber like the staff that she's used to.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I think lightsaber after using this, absolutely,
then she will have earned it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of get the whole lightsabers calling to you thing, but like, why? It's not just because she's nobody. Rian Johnson, you lazy prick. Like, he wanted to destroy Star Wars without making anything magical about it. Like, dude,
that's the only way to save Rey's character, is to realize that she has some kind of amnesia, that she has been trained, and that she does have these latent powers. And and
what I thought would be a dope ass twist the other day, and it actually comes from something real that George Lucas said. Like, George Lucas said something about how, like, the sequel trilogy would involve somebody from like the prequel era time period who has like been frozen in time and awakened later.
What? Who could that be?
Anakin's twin sister.
No, please no. Oh God, no. That would be fucking stupid. Please tell me they're not going to do that.
Oh, wouldn't that be so Star Wars though? Are you kidding me? No one has talked about doing something like that as far as I've seen on YouTube. So that's why I think it should happen, because if no one's talking about it, that's the one thing that's going to surprise everybody.
If they do something like that, then they have to bring in Darth Plagueis.
Snoke was Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis.
Okay, so here's the way I see it. So Snoke was Darth Plagueis, and apparently he has this ring, right? So maybe, I don't know if it's visible like in the movie or not, but like maybe Rey takes the ring, right? And his spirit or his soul possesses it. So she basically kind of becomes like a part-time conduit for Darth Plagueis. This is why David Lynch should direct the third movie, and I totally get why George Lucas wanted Lynch to direct it. Now, after watching Elephant Man and being as familiar with Eraserhead as I am, it makes sense. Like, I think Star Wars could use this kind of like extra dimensional element that mystifies it into surrealism in a way, because at this point you're gonna need that to kind of clean up the mess that was the hollow, empty, soulless, anti-fan Last Jedi. It was literally like, even the poster was a fuck you to the fans. It's like, oh, you want your classic black background with the characters all. Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's my thoughts on how you fix Rey.
Okay.
You make it so this whole time she has had the reincarnated spirit of Darth Plagueis inside her this whole time, and that is why she's so powerful, and that's why she's so angry, and like exhibits a lot of dark side.
That's why she's so wise.
Yeah, and. But she doesn't know it. She's like still like in shock, and so it's like causing memory loss and stuff. And she's actually the one that killed her own parents.
Wow!
And that would be the big deal.
Oh wow, dude!
Yeah, and this whole time it was Darth Plagueis masquerading as a good guy, trying to lead the rebellion into like dust,
self-destruction,
trying to kill them off, and he was totally successful given how small the resistance was at the end of The Last Jedi. and it would be
Wow.
them having to like deal with that. And then
So
Ray
then
would be like the ultimate bad guy. So yeah.
that's so amazing. Wow, that is really so amazing. Wow, James, very good. Very good. I hope people are watching because I love that. That's such a
Like,
good idea. I
yeah, if
almost
they
kind of
did
want to
something like
incorporate
that,
that.
it would redeem her writing for the last two movies completely and
Mhm.
entirely. It would all make sense.
Well, especially the second movie because yeah, she gets drawn to the dark side, but why? You know, she can't see her parents, but why?
Yeah.
Because she's
Luke
already killed
said,
them in her own mind. You
Luke
know,
said she
like
was filled with raw power that terrified him. Like, it all fits.
yeah, let's see that raw power and let's see her be a chaotic, destructive force. Like that. What that's the thing that's going to make me like at the end of the movie want her to be okay. You know, because like right now, I don't care. I don't care if she sacrifices herself, if she becomes a leader. Like I don't care. It's like whatever happens to Ray is just going to be whatever happens to Ray. That's the way that this story makes me feel right now. But I think with this last movie, if we can actually really right the ship and make people look at Ray in a different light forever, because if she's a woman who is truly going to be tested by the dark side, I think there has to be some serious consequences that come from that. Maybe she's the reason why Leia dies.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's got to be something like that. Something seriously like dramatic.
Maybe
And
she has like a freak out or something. She screams with rage and then just like emits an energy that like fucking annihilates everybody in the room, you know? Like imagine that. Like imagine how gut-wrenching that would be. Fuck Infinity War. Dude, are you kidding me? If you watch you know, if you see Ray like literally scream like a Kamehameha and just launch like an energy because listen, every movie so far has introduced something new in the Force.
Mhm.
Why not introduce one where there's like a force burst where it's like a force field of energy basically that just shoots out throughout the room and like literally annihilates everything like everything living like within it, you know what I mean? So that way like you can literally kill off like a bunch of characters that no longer service the story but will make an emotional gut punch because this is an Infinity War. You can't just reverse it, you
Mhm.
know, like it's gonna be different. So that
So
way we
first
can
to
kill off
die.
Rose Tico.
I was going to say Rose Tico's first to die. Um,
Actually, in my mind, she dies in the very first scene.
yeah,
Um,
I'm with you there.
um, no,
I don't
it's
care
actually
how.
a really well written. It's actually really well written. She ends up sacrificing herself by using her fighter to fly into one of the cannons, so it destroys the cannon.
Oh,
Just like Finn was going to, but she stopped him from doing. But she does that in order to save Rey.
you wrote an Asian doing a kamikaze? Fucking racist. Oh my god.
Wow, you're quick on that. You're quick on that.
You know,
That's what
looking
they
up,
would say too. That's what they would
looking
say
up
too.
for you,
But
buddy.
you know what? To me, I'd say it's poetic justice for like what she denied Finn, because maybe Finn at this point should be like angry at her, maybe like have a little bit of resentment, be like, listen, none of that had to happen unless if you hadn't had stopped me from doing that. You know, like maybe he finally becomes that because so far they've painted him as a coward.
Yeah,
You
they need to
know,
stop doing that, and they need to stop making him slapsticky. They need to make him a serious
exactly.
badass.
They make him serious. So this time he's
Make
going to
him
be
the soldier
mad.
that he was supposed to be. You know, not some fucking janitor. Like, let's just forget that
Exactly.
was ever a thing.
Yeah, because listen, yeah, whether or not he was a janitor before, like he was there with you know a weapon, a blaster, as a stormtrooper, you know, like ready to fucking assassinate innocent people, but he didn't, you know, but he was in that position. So he wasn't just a fucking janitor, all right? So there's a lot more potential for him. So why make him a bumbling fool who doesn't even end up getting to use the lightsaber, who ends up getting to bumble around naked in a suit when you first see him, and the first thing he says is, "Where's the girl of the story?" And then the next thing you see is the one part of the story that we were actually waiting to catch up with. Um, and what do? Hey, fuck you.
Uh,
This movie's just gonna fuck you.
They
every
give
step
us
of the way.
Skywalker drinking green titty milk. Because
Yeah,
why
it was
not?
bad. It was bad. But no, to fix that now, so like, I mean, unfortunately, like, I mean, what else can you do? Like, Luke's dead, right? Like, they
No,
showed that.
you can write
They
your way
showed
out.
that, so Luke is
Just
dead.
be like, no, he didn't. Because you know what happened? Like, if he just dissolved into the forest, why did his mechanical hand disappear? Wouldn't that have just like clunked to the ground with his clothes? You know? So you
Hmm.
can write your way out of that. You could just say he teleported himself to another planet where he had another robe waiting for him.
Wow. Yeah, actually.
And he's fine. And he's
Oh,
actually
so
got like
that's why
an
they
X-Wing
thought
vest
he
ready
was
to
gone.
go.
They thought he was gone. They
Right.
thought he was gone because they couldn't feel him anymore because he was so far away. He
Yeah.
was probably at Starbucks in Seattle, like chumming it up
Yeah.
with like Howard Schultz and shit. You
Oh,
know,
God.
that would be funny. That would be a funny like media video. See, listen, that's the thing. We got to make Star Wars like cool again.
Yeah, he
You
could
know,
do
like
that. Like he's got like say he's got like a he's got an X-wing stashed away with the droid that's in hibernation, like all ready to go. It's like his emergency getaway spot. And he just like
but it's like in Elon Musk's Batcave or something.
yeah, whatever, and he like fucking teleports there, and he's got a flight suit waiting for him, and he gets in it, and and it's like activates the astromech, and it's like, come on, D5X1. And
You
let's
remember how
go.
fun? You remember how fun commercials used to be?
Yeah,
They used to be just kind of silly and like self-aware, but not at the same time.
yeah. We need
Like,
that sense of fun again.
and that's why I really think you need to watch the new Predator trailer. It's not 100% that, but I think it definitely kind of seeps a little bit of that, like element. Like it's not even nostalgia. It's like the raw. What am I, fucking New Yorkian?
Ooh,
It comes out sometimes. It's weird. I don't know. I just impersonate a lot of New York New York accent fluent speakers often, so I guess it just kind of like naturally seeps out. But anyways, make America great again, everybody.
talked about how we fix Kylo, how we fix Hux, how we fix
Great.
how we fix
Yeah, so we fix Hux by making him a serious villain who is actually deeply in cahoots with Snoke. Like, Snoke didn't trust Kylo. Snoke legitimately thought that Kylo was going to fail him, and he was really just using him as bait to get to Rey because he wanted to possess Rey because she actually had the more powerful inherent skills. So hence the ring. There's this whole theory that's going on with the ring, and
she's got Darth Plagueis in her.
that's what I'm saying. No,
Yeah.
she gets that once because Snoke is Darth Plagueis. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I agree with you, but like, I don't think she was born that way. Like, but maybe she did kill her parents, but maybe she is actually the twin of Anakin Skywalker that we didn't hear about. Like the totally secret, lost, like not even Shmi knew about her. You know what I mean? And Palpatine just fucking took her right away, and kept her frozen in a state or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that type of shit. Palpatine, that conniving motherfucker. Like, if you read the comics and like you hear his shit, he's like a Munchausen mom, bro. Like he's like legit like evil and manipulative.
Cool. They could bring Ian McDermott back for a flashback scene.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like, we've needed this in Star Wars. Like, listen, all these people are still alive. Why not use them in the overall story? Like, why do we have to like be bold and original and tell our own story about space horses and how the military and district? Fuck you, Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. Get off your literally high space horses, whatever the fuck they were called in the movie. It was so stupid. It was such a stupid scene. It didn't feel like Star Wars. The whole movie didn't feel like Star Wars. You are failing as a team. J.J. Abrams was probably the only good thing about The Force Awakens, and that's probably the only reason why you're bringing him back, because he's a failsafe and you're desperate and you need somebody who is familiar with the material and the actors, and you need Kathleen Kennedy out of the picture. You need George Lucas to just say a couple things here and there, drop a couple sprinkles, and maybe get some fucking knobs turning. But the thing is, they're already like, what, 3-4 weeks into production? It's too late. It's happening. Whatever's happening is happening. And you know what? It doesn't look good so far.
So, how do we fit Poe into all this in our episode 9 script.
Poor fucking Poe, right? Right? Because like
How does he get
he
redeemed?
was. How does he get? How does he get redeemed? I mean,
He was.
first
I
of
mean,
all, he's not a character that should have ever had to have been redeemed in
that's
the
what I
first
mean.
place.
He was humiliated in the Last Jedi. So how do
He
we
was
fix that?
humiliated, right? But
How do
he
we,
was humiliated for what? For being dope? For being good at what he does? For being passionate? For having an opinion? Really? All because somebody wanted to say, oh, well, you're just a flyboy. And when I say somebody, I mean somebody
freaking
with a feminist agenda. You
Admiral
know,
DeForce
I
Stamp?
mean, bro, listen, I got another red flag as soon as I saw the picture of Laura Dern with the purple hair.
Yeah.
Because God bless my soul, I love Laura Dern. She is one of the most beautiful, sweethearted human beings I think I've ever seen on the face of the earth. Like, you could just tell, just from like who she is,
Yeah, I like
right?
her.
She's kind of got a bubbly personality naturally, and like and when she plays that on the screen, it just bursts. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever seen Wild at Heart by David Lynch, but it's her and Nicolas Cage in basically like a Bonnie and Clyde type of a love story
Oh,
type of
cool.
thing. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. It came out the same weekend that I did.
Oh,
Into
shit.
the world, into the world.
So here's what I think. I think Poe.
Foe.
I think Poe is
Finn and
probably
Poe are going to be a couple, and they're going to be called Foe.
Poe goes and gets some pho and chills out, and it's great. And he has a nice time with his friends.
And then he calls up Tony Stark, and they go get some shawarma.
And it's just him eating. That's all. We just see cut to scenes of him eating with different people throughout the movie.
Like Thanos in the background, skateboarding on a longboarding on a longboard.
Because why not?
Wearing shorts and flip flops, and like a Hawaiian shirt. And it's basically just Josh Brolin, but like, it's Thanos, but it's like, come on, it's just Josh Brolin being Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
See, I should direct big budget Hollywood movies because I will intentionally direct the dopest scenes that you never knew you wanted. As like extra shit. Instead of like bloopers, be like, here's an intentionally funny like video with like art, with like Hollywood technology, with Hollywood actors, with like let's like do like a fucking stupid Funny or Die level video, and instead of bloopers, like run that, still have the blooper reel on the Blu-ray or whatever, but that's like something to look forward to on the Blu-ray. But like after you're finished watching the movie, have a fun time with all this stupid shit that we did because we're dorks. That is the future of filmmaking.
Wow. All right. You heard it here first, folks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Nikolajczyk, and I am a pretentious douchebag. Love you.
All right. What about Benicio del Toro? Do we bring him back?
Love him. No, we don't. That's just the one. Listen, there's no time. There's no. Listen, no. Fuck
Okay.
no.
He's
Especially
out.
not with that stupid stutter. Listen, I love Benicio del Toro. All right. Speaking of Josh Brolin, Sicario, him and Benicio together. Love that. Have you seen Sicario?
No.
But where the fuck are you, bro? Dude, listen, it's a great movie. Like,
I gotta
bro,
feed the kitties. Be right back.
feed the kitties. I will just monologue about the greatness of how about Josh Brolin. I first discovered Josh Brolin in about like 2007 or so, and I watched like either Grindhouse or American Gangster. And he was a bad motherfucker in both those movies. He killed a dog in American Gangster. And you do that, and I want to fucking punch you right in your motherfucking nuts and your teeth until they break into little pieces. Like, I love dogs. You don't fucking kill a dog. You kidding me? But he did that in American Gangster, and I hated him for that. And his mustache. Greasy ass, dirty cop. But he was perfect. He was perfect in that role. Like, greasy, rotten 70s cop, so good. And then the same year, he was in Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror, which is, to this day, probably one of the most entertaining and silliest and most fun movies I've ever seen. I can't wait to rewatch it. I always rewatch it around Halloween time. Or at the very least, I try to. Sometimes along with Death Proof, sometimes I don't have the patience for Death Proof. But I mean, like, I don't know. Kurt Russell really does kind of make it worth it. And
Except he ended up being such a pussy by the end. Like, it was really unsatisfying.
oh, are you kidding me? I loved that. I love the fact that like his whole like, look at how dark and evil I am thing was like a big like just a veneer, you know. And
Subversion.
once that veneer was shattered, you know, he turned into the you know, little mama's crybaby that he really is, you know. And he was compensating by having this loud rock and roll and the you know, this crazy car and this you know, like I think like I really like that. I really like that. And the thing is, like, you can look at that from like a feminist lens and say it's a pro-feminist movie, but I think that takes away from what makes that movie interesting, you know, because if you don't, at the very least, because listen, you spend the whole movie with this guy, you know, like he's not your main character, but he's there from the start and he's there at the end, you know. Um, so it's kind of a horror movie in that sense where you follow the killer, you follow the bad guy, but they become icons for reasons like Freddy and Michael and all these guys. You know, like I feel like realistically, like Death Proof could have made like a franchise.
Maybe.
With like it could have been a vehicle for no pun intended, actually that's so funny, but it could have been a vehicle for Kurt Russell. Like they could have gone like cyborg, you know, or like he could have become one with the car, like his soul becomes one with the car and becomes like a Christine kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like which I'm only like I'm over halfway through that book now and I still haven't watched the movie, but I'm loving it so far. I gotta finish it. It's just been so nice. It's been so nice. I'm waiting for Gray Days.
So,
Anyways,
what do you think they're going to do with Princess Leia in episode 9?
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna use existing footage that has not been used of her and try to use that as.
But storyline wise, what is it going to be, do you think? What can you, like, what could they possibly do with it from what they have?
Well, I mean, it depends on what the scenes were. They haven't really specified, I think, what scenes were shot, right? I think there's like one scene where she's talking to the Senate, because they're not just using scenes. I think they're using scenes from both movies to create like almost like a full arc for her, which I think, you know, they're gonna have to dance around a little bit. You know, yeah, they're gonna have to rotoscope her at the very least. They might have to change her wardrobe, which I would not like.
That's going to look weird. Like,
It's gonna look weird. No matter what, it's gonna look weird. I don't like it. Listen, bring back. It's fine if she wears the same wardrobe. Like that'll kind of feel weird. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Star Wars has so many blemishes that they try to cover up, right? So maybe it's only right within the Star Wars tradition to have something that's kind of funky looking. You know, to be like, yeah, you can tell that they put that dress on her in post or whatever, you know.
I think the only thing they can do is just have a time skip and start with her funeral and just like have her die off screen. Like, that's it.
I think that would be what they would have done in 1986 or whenever Return of the Jedi came. You know what I mean? Like if they had done it, or like in 1991, if you know, like, or 1996, or however many years it would have taken if they had done the, you know, like. But now, yeah, now they have the technology. Now they can finish the story in a way, because the thing is, like, we do want those images of her. You know, we want our princess. Like, we don't want her to be gone, because, like, in the story so far, if you just look at the movies, she's not gone. If you're a kid and you have no idea who the fuck Carrie Fisher is, and your mom and dad are sitting down and you're watching the Star Wars movies for the first time, and you get to The Last Jedi, you don't know that Carrie Fisher is dead in real life by the time anyone has seen this movie. You don't think about that. You just see the character. And that's the way a good producer should look at a movie. Look at it from the perspective of timelessness. The quality that's going to stay with it no matter how much public opinion changes. The truth that it speaks with its purpose, its message, the story it's trying to tell. That's what makes Star Wars eternal. That's what makes that original trilogy feel so personal, It's so vivid and out there and wild, but at the same time, it's this romantic Shakespearean level of opera, family drama, And I've always had a personal connection to it, and I still continue to, even through Kylo. I feel a lot of myself in Kylo. I was the emo kid. I am the emo kid. Look at me. I'm in all black right now, wearing a fucking Mary Jane marijuana shirt and a MAGA hat. For all intents and purposes, I am the demographic that Disney is trying to appeal to with Kylo Ren. And it's true. And quite frankly, and that's fine. I get it. But at the same time, I don't even think Disney's thinking about shit like that. No. I think it's just all a big mess. It's all a big mess, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I hope to God that JJ and team can fucking pull this together, but I don't think it's going to happen. No, it sounds way too messy, way too many characters. At this point, you got to trim it down. You got to kill off characters within the first act. You got to bring up the action, the pacing. Like it's got to be fast from the get-go. You know what I mean? Like you got to get it moving. Like the way I see it, there's a battle. You know what I mean? At a first order, like massive compound. You know what I mean? Where like there's the way I see it, there's like two big towers, right? And in the sky, there's a battle as well. So Poe Dameron is flying and fighting, and Rose Tico is flying and fighting, and Finn and Rey are on the ground with lightsabers and their team of Jedi apprentices that Rey has trained. You know what I mean? Like, just put us right in the middle of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's not explain. So over these past 5 years, Rey has been. No. Let's just be like, all right, let's go. Like Rey's leading this team, and and she's got her lightsaber blaring, and there's all these people. Like, let's just fucking get into it, and let's make it big, and let's make it massive, and let's make it fun and exciting. Like, that's what they did with Revenge of the Sith, and it worked out great. Like with Return of the Jedi, they didn't have to do that because they actually had better pacing throughout the series. So, they were able to start off with that nice, ominous, like, Palpatine scene and all that, But with this movie, you're going to have to start off with a big bang. A lot of people die. So this is the scene, basically, where, like, while Kylo is getting ousted by Hux, this is the battle that is raging. So he's in charge of this battle, and Hux and the Knights of Ren are finally just like, fuck. And they storm him while he's trying to contact Anakin. And then finally, like I said, he has that moment where like the light shines, but he doesn't see it before it's too late. But before Anakin can appear to him, Hux and the Knights of Ren bust in, and they fight like a motherfucker. Like Kylo's a bad motherfucker at this point. You know what I mean? Like, he is strong with the Force, but like he isn't like as aggressive as he used to be. Like maybe even the crystals have less of like a chaotic spark around them. Like, he still has the hilt and shit, but there's less of like that like fucked upness about it, to kind of show that like he has an inner calm. Oh my God, let me write this fucking movie. But so he's fighting them, and for the most part, he's not even using the lightsaber. He's using like the Force and like trying to be swift and avoidant, and like the things that he saw Luke doing when he last encountered Luke, kind of. Like,
it'd be awesome if he like lost a leg and an arm, and like just like was able to like fucking get the fuck out of there. Like he fights really badass, but he's outnumbered. You know, and
No.
not
Oh my
realistic.
God. No. Here's where it happens. So he's able to fight them off and he escapes. Um, maybe with his lightsaber, maybe not with his lightsaber, but definitely still with his hand. And then he gets into the escape pod and tries to go to the battle where Rey is. So this was a part of my original draft, but I'm now annotating it to have like the hand cutting off thing. So he goes there and uses the Force to sense where Rey is and tries to see Rey because he's been kind of cut off from her, but he doesn't know why. And so he goes to meet with her, and as soon as she sees him, oh my God, what if she looks at him with rage and a little bit of yellow shines in her eye.
Oh,
And she storms at him. And she storms at him with her lightsaber. Oh, yeah. She storms at him with her lightsaber, and he has already lost his lightsaber.
yeah.
So he just puts his hands up, both of his hands, and she looks at him, and he has this look of like hurt and pain and suffering, like he had just been sobbing because he had just been sobbing and just been betrayed and ousted as the leader of the First Order. And Rey is the one person who he thought he had a connection with, and here she is coming at him with pure rage and fire in her eyes, and he's just hurt and on the verge of self-destruction. And she comes at him, and she sees that, and it kind of throws her off a little bit. So instead of striking him down, she just takes his fucking hand off.
Yeah, good. No, I just dismemberment to get closer to Vader.
It has to happen,
Right.
you know.
That's the thing. Kylo has to suffer enough before Anakin is able to show up. Like Kylo has to go through some pain before Anakin's able to connect with them.
To really, yeah, exactly. That's why I like the idea of like the blue light starting to shine, and then like, because as an audience, you're like, like you gasp for a second. You're like, oh my God, we're about to see Hayden Christensen,
No, I want
Like,
Kylo to lose his lightsaber, so he has to make a new one, and this time he makes a green one.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, a green one.
Yeah.
And he dresses in gray.
That would show his, like growth as a character right there.
Yeah.
Like
he dresses in green and gray. Like maybe even he cuts his hair short.
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, something like that, Or maybe even, dude, how funny would it be if in like the last shot of the film, it's like an award ceremony, and like all this time, Kylo has had like long hair and all that, but like in this shot, he's got like the little Jedi apprentice braid.
Oh no! no. But it'd be great. It'd be great if they hand out awards to everyone but Chewbacca again. And just purposely walk past him, make a point of it.
Yeah, let me talk about what The Force Awakens should have been. You know what I mean? Like The Force Awakens. Oh, God damn it! Like they fucked up so bad. Like I need to be a producer in Hollywood, but I need to do it for properties that I really care about. And thing is, I'm really glad that what's his name, Voight Roberts, the guy who did Kong Skull Island, that he is doing Metal Gear. Have you been following any of that at all?
No.
Bro, there's a Metal Gear movie happening, and it's real, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But well, I mean, see, there's the thing. There's the old thing of like movies that have been adapted from video games are never good, right? And it's kind of pretty much always rang true. Like some of them are kind of like cult favorites in a way, like Mortal Kombat,
Metal Gear's already a movie though, so they're fine.
And that's why it's such a difficult thing to approach. That's why I didn't want to approach it that way. The way I would have done the Metal Gear story is as a TV show that tells it chronologically. 6 to 7 seasons.
Yeah. There's enough material there to do that.
There's enough material there for 6 to 7 seasons of like 8 to 9 episodes, each episode being about an hour each or so, right? Like 8, 9, or 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Each season, and because that is honestly, the future of Hollywood. I think it's going to be television. It's going to be digital. media. It's going to be Amazon Studios. It's going to be Hulu, fucking Hulu. I mean,
Well, yeah.
Netflix. It's going to be all these,
Well, I mean,
that's the new studio system.
yeah, I mean,
Weinstein's and all
they're
those corrupt fucks are done for. It's
they're
over.
they're losing money big time. Paramount is $10 billion in debt right now. Like, they are one step away from declaring bankruptcy. It's a set. Like, Hollywood studios are fucking bleeding money. Like, you can point to all the Avengers movies you want or whatever, and be like, these movies brought in $1 billion. But
Yeah,
like,
but that's
people
one
always forget.
studio.
People always forget. Like, that's what when they talk about how much money a movie brings in. First of all, the theaters take at least 40% of that, so they're only getting 60% of that. And then on top of that, you have to factor in the movie's budget. And
Theaters get as much as 40? Wow.
Oh yeah. Usually more. 40 is being actually pretty conservative.
Well, that's probably why they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they don't get. I would have thought that they make 35 to 20.
Oh no.
Because I mean, especially with somebody like Disney, they've been so pushy and they're so, we're literally getting to the point where it feels like we're going to be living in a world where it's literally Disney versus indie. Like Disney is going to be Hollywood. Disney is going to be the mainstream, and then there's going to be indie. So Disney isn't going to be what it used to be. Disney is going to be for adults, for children, for everything. It's just going to be subsectioned. There's going to be Disney adult. There's going to be Disney parks. There's going to be Disney planes. There's going to be, Disney, fucking, fashion line. You know what I mean? Like, if they were really going to monopolize the way that, a company with that much power could monopolize, I don't see why not. I mean, they're so massive, they're so powerful. If they can get away with making garbage like The Last Jedi.
Well, and it's like, I don't know if you heard about this, but Disney.
I can barely hear you.
I don't know if you heard about this. Disney pulled some shit out of theaters for The Last Jedi, demanding 65% of the revenue.
Oh yeah. No, and it happened with Force Awakens too. Like Tarantino got pissed about it because Tarantino's Hateful Eight came out around the same time, and he's like, "Well, listen, so my movie is coming out, like a week later, and I want to play it at this theater because I've been coming to this theater since I was a kid, and I love it, and it would mean the world to me as a creative, as an artist, as somebody that the art world respects, to be able to play my film in this theater. Can I play it?" And they're like, yeah, no, sorry, Disney says nobody can play anything but Star Wars until this time.
Yeah,
you give me the entire theater, really?
Yeah, they said either you play, you give us like all this fucking exclusivity, or you don't get the movie at all. It's up to you.
Right.
And you had to pay an excessive fee as well.
And see, the thing is, in the era of Trump, we are now inspiring a world of people who are willing to take the risk and say, you know what? Then I just won't take the movie.
Yeah.
I'll stand by my morals, and I'll stand by what I believe, and I'll just follow through on that because I don't want to appease anybody. Like I want people to like me in general because I like people in general. Like I get it. Like people have bad days. People get in bad moods. You know what I mean? Some people are a little pretentious. Some people are a little douchey. But I mean, like, you can roll with those personalities. There's things you can do that make it endurable. So like I don't think that there's any one person that like I absolutely can't stand except for like maybe I don't know like it's like a violent schizophrenic crackhead or something like that. Like that's I don't like those interactions very much. Those they kind of get a little shady. But I don't even know what my point is anymore. I need to refill my glass though. I'll tell you that. What was I talking about? Here, James, take it away.
Trying to fix episode 9, I think we've come up with some really great ideas. Obviously, Disney is
actually,
it's probably going to be a train wreck. I can't imagine it being any good at all. J.J. Abrams is not good at closing up storylines. That's just not something he does.
Right.
He's a guy that likes to throw seeds everywhere and sees what grows, and he's like, "Yeah, aren't I a genius? Don't you care
Right.
about that?"
And you still, let me ask you this question. You still haven't seen Super 8, right?
No.
Okay, so Super 8, I will say, is probably like the closest thing he has to like a movie with like a full. Well, I mean, like, I guess, like, the first and second Star Trek movies are technically like full arcs with a beginning, middle, and end, and they end like a movie ends. But like, there's so many other things that are wrong with those movies, and I don't think it's him that is the reason why those movies actually had a point where they're like, hey, this is where the story ends. And even then, it's never like a really, it doesn't feel like a resolution. It just kind of feels like, well, this is something that happened after they were done with all of this. And, like, it's weird. Like, those movies just feel like little snippets of life, and not in like a good way, not in like a Noah Baumbach type of way or something. You know what I mean? Not like an indie film kind of way, but they feel like a little like a high school stage actor.
Yeah.
High school stage actory. I'm gonna put myself on mute because I'm about to take a leak. So you just
You do.
talk.
You. I'll go have a smoke. We'll just take a 5-minute break here. One moment.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. What is that? Ghostface? Is that Ghostface Killer? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I think it is. Anyways, is anybody paying attention? Is there any? Do we have any viewers? 'Cause I'm done. I'm done pissing. I just took a leak. You know, if you're into that, good for you. Have fun. Um, yeah, I'm just kind of. I should close this door. I really want some of this wine, but I should close this door. I'm just really I'm just being a shitlord. It's just, it's who I am. It's who I am. It's why I joined this podcast. I'm a shitlord. It's what I do. I'm the lord of the shit. Period. I'm not the shit. I'm just, I'm the lord of the shit. So it's like, you can talk to this shit, but you gotta talk to him first if you want to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just riffing. This is what they call riffing. Poop has been a thing in books that I've been reading lately. It's weird. I was reading The Corrections, and I don't know if I want to finish that book. I damn near stopped it around the time that the cranky old father of the book, who was very central to the plot, if there is one, of this story, is having a dialogue with a talking piece of shit. And I don't mean like, somebody played by Jared Leto. I mean an actual piece of like fecal, like a poop, poop, like a old poopy old poop. So I don't know if that's something that like senile people actually see or something that they deal with.
You're talking
But,
about
like,
your poop fetish again?
No, I'm talking about the book The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen, and also whatever I was reading the other night that also for some reason had like a similar like poop fever dream type of like situation in it. But like apparently that's like a I don't know if it's supposed to have to do with like becoming senile and like having senile thoughts and visions and hallucinations, but like I know that that's one of the topics of the book that deal with like what happens in your brain as you go senile. So like there's this whole scene, it's like about halfway through the book, and like literally this is where I put it down, where like the old man, like the dad in the book, like there's no real like protagonist. They all are just kind of like middle class fucking douchebag, liberal assholes, you know.
Yeah.
In like the early 2000s, like it came out like in 2001 or something, you know what I mean? So it was like a culturally relevant book or whatever. But like halfway through the book, like the old dad, like is having like some kind of a hallucination or like a scene with like a literal piece of poop. And that was about the part of the book where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find something else to read.
Sounds like postmodernist garbage.
And that's exactly what it is. It's postmodernist garbage. And I love postmodernist garbage because it makes me look so cool.
I think that's the only reason to like postmodernist garbage is to look cool, get chicks to like you. Hey,
I'm not joking. That's literally the only reason I like postmodernist garbage. I mean, it's entertaining and it's like kind of funny to be like, oh, this is what pseudo intellectuals think. Cool. At least it's well written, But so I guess in a way I do enjoy it because it is well written, and I do like understanding the minds of like these like, look at how fucking big my literary cock is, people.
I don't like people that read too much. They're annoying.
Yeah, right. Like I think like anybody who does anything too much, except for alcohol, is annoying because everyone is annoying when you're on alcohol because you're just, you're just you.
I want to introduce a new segment to our show, and it'll be called This Week on 4chan.
Wait, we have segments?
Yeah, why not? This week on 4chan.
Listen, if we had segments, we'd have like little cuts and breaks and things like that. Like, I don't know, maybe we should really up our production value. Like I've been talking to this guy. He wants me to run his Instagram. He's like a producer. I don't know. Maybe we could use the studio. We could do a little live podcast type of fucking see what happens type of thing,
All right. Well, in the meantime, I want to read this to you because it's totally pertinent to our conversation. This is a great post, actually. It's by Anonymous.
It's from 4chan.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it's from 4chan. Sure.
Post by Anonymous.
Okay.
The Last Jedi was almost a textbook example of how to break a universe and destroy a franchise with sheer incompetence from top down. Children will study this movie like they study the fall of the Roman Empire, and they'll speculate on how the human brain could have possibly come up with something so bad and have nobody stop him or question him. Of course, much like Rome, it'll never be answered in a simple way because the various factors of individual retardation are too numerous to quantify. No longer will the prequels be unanimously decreed as the worst Star Wars films because Rian Johnson somehow, through dark magic, has managed to make something even worse. It stands as a Wire-esque breakdown of the movie industry and provides a theme about how even with the best of intentions, only terrible failures come from the other end of the system. From the top-down structure of Disney that allowed this to happen, to the massive marketing and shilling campaigns, to the undeniable proof and review journalists who are corrupt hacks with financial incentive and being positive, and that's even before they're bribed, in which they're bribed, they are in various ways, all leading to the literal Great Pyramid of Failures. The only way they have definitely proved that is to put an objectively trash film through the ringer and see if Hollywood machine still sucks that dick. And if they did, The Last Jay is a deep exploration into the corruption of Hollywood and stands the test of time as an undeniable proof of the industry's full-scale rot from top to bottom. Bravo.
Wow. You know,
Bravo.
That was a very crudely but so rich analysis of the whole situation. And yeah, bravo, I agree. Absolutely bravo. What if it with overly pretentious or throwing around your literary cock, as I was saying earlier? You know, don't do that. A lot of people are like, look at all these smart literary things that I know actually point, you know, with the way that you would color your sentences naturally if you were just to be some being. Having a fucking conversation. Be real, you know. Like, you're a journalist. You're not, you know. Even Hemingway had simple prose. You know what I mean? Like, so get up off your own high horse. You know, maybe read some. Maybe actually listen. If you want to be Hunter S. Thompson. Listen, he was also succinct into just a way of viewing things, and no amount of no fucking liberal arts degree is gonna tell you that. It's about who you are and the way you see things and the way you think about things. And school's not going to teach that to you. You know, you want to go gonzo, you go gonzo. There's no book on it, even though there's literally a book on it, but there's no book on it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's a mindset. It's a life. So I follow. I'm like, Sith Lord. I'm a Sith Lord. Don't tell anybody. I'm a Sith Lord.
Oh my God.
My lightsaber's red as hell. Oh, you didn't hear that? Because it was the funniest thing I've said all week. Okay, well, whatever. I guess I'll just talk to myself. I'll mumble along to myself as I do, wearing my pink mega hat and my dope ass shoes. See them? Can you see my dope ass shoes? A song.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day,
Because
Star Wars Episode 9.
I don't know. I'm feeling motivated.
Go see it. I don't think. I think Solo.
Everyone's going to go and see it. Everyone's going to go and see it.
I mean, don't you think? I mean, sure,
no. See, and that's the reason. That's the reason why they pulled the plug on everything. Like, no. But by the time, James, listen to me, man. By the time December, when the ninth and final installment of the second supposed to be hitting theaters, everybody who hated on The Last Jedi is going to have a new outlook on the situation. They're still going to hate The Last Jedi, but they're going to be like, you know what? Maybe this movie is going to right the wrongs, and everybody's going to go see it, and it's probably going to be even more successful than The Force Awakens, because, like, with The Force Awakens, it was like a big deal. Sure, right. Last Jedi, they had no idea what to do because they were fucking it up. But now, it's like, oh shit. Like, we dropped the ball. We have to put some serious mascara on this ragdoll that we just ran through the ringer.
Yeah, they got to take
and that's what they're gonna do.
Get themselves back on the street and work harder than ever.
And that's what they're gonna do. So, yeah. So up front, they're gonna give us something like literally the first words, the first voice, or the first image that we're gonna hear is gonna be something, but the voice of Vader or the voice of Palpatine or something, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be like, no, really? Are they doing this? You know, it's gonna grab you right away and get about all objectivity. That's the way that they would and should and probably will market Episode 9, no matter what it is. No matter what character it is, I don't know if it's going to be Vader, I don't know if it's going to be Palpatine, I don't know if it's going to be the voice of Hayden Christensen as Anakin, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something that's familiar, but new, and it's going to blow your fucking mind hole when you hear/see it, because that's what they need right now to get people to actually give a shit about Disney Star Wars.
You know, I want to. I know
because it's not Star Wars anymore.
I know you don't like
it's Disney Star Wars.
But I want to play you a video, and I want to get your reaction to it. It's about this exact thing. It's a Grace Randolph.
I don't like podcasts.
Huh?
And the only reason I don't like watching videos on podcasts is because of the quality as it comes through.
I know. So
especially now that I've switched back to Wi-Fi, because I already got a fucking notification that I've used most.
What I'm going to do
You're going to send it to me.
I'm going to send
you. I'm going to watch it on my own device, right?
I'll send you a link, and you watch it.
Yep.
Synced up with me instead of me screen sharing it.
Yep.
And that'll probably work a lot better.
Perfect. On Facebook?
Yeah.
You sending it?
I can just send you the link on Facebook, and then I'll just tell you to hit play at the same time I hit play.
All right, loading. All right, yeah, loading. It's good. It's gonna.
It's a good video. It's worth it.
All right. My internet is very bad. My internet is very bad.
I set the link.
I got it. I got it on my phone. I can see the. Yeah, I can see the. I can see the. Like, I'm still waiting. You know, oh, hey, it's loading. Hey, there we go. Okay. So.
Are you ready?
2 notifications. What's that about? Nope. It's still opening. It's look. Okay. It's very fucking frustratingly. Oh, here we go. It's all. Well, no, not here we go. Here we go. But like, hold on a second, and then I'm clicking on the link, exiting out of Facebook, just letting the YouTube page. Nothing else is open except for our conversation, which means 2 things, because we are having a pretty open conversation.
Right.
Is there anybody watching? Is there anybody watching who appreciate my stupid jokes and these puns? No, not right, but like question. Like,
people pop in and out throughout the conversation.
Legit question. Like, is there? No?
Yeah, no, there's no one watching right now.
Really?
Throughout, there's been people coming in, hanging out for 20 minutes or so. I don't know if there's been any activity on the chat. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, how do you watch that? Or is that like just you? Because I think somebody should stay on top of that. You know.
Yeah. All right. Is that video loaded up yet, or?
If you want to run like an efficient channel, because I can't see. I hope the ad is loading. Don't worry, man. I'm trying to make this happen as fast as possible, but it's.
You don't have ad.
Wait, did you send me a Grace Randolph video?
Yeah, Grace Randolph. This is. I'm not normally a fan of her, but this is a great video. You'll see what I mean. Trust me.
I love Grace Randolph, actually. After I saw the Predator trailer, I was like, Grace Randolph, thanks. And I was way more excited about it than she was, but I don't always agree with her, but I think she's pretty cool.
All right, hit play.
Okay, so you want to start at the same time, yay?
Yeah, go to the beginning and hit play in 3.
Wait. Let's. Oh, James?
Yeah, hit play in 3, 2.
James?
What? What's wrong? Oh my God, just hit play.
I can hear it, can you?
What are you going to be? Well, you're going to be.
I can hear it.
Disturbing. All right, so anyway, I can't obviously give away my source, but I can tell you that this news originates from deep inside Pinewood Studios.
Okay, pretty much matched up.
What?
late last week, and I was traveling, and I wanted to make sure I did the information justice. So it's the very first video I'm making upon my return from Los Angeles. All right. Are you ready? Because it's potent stuff. So there was a secret.
Oh, you're lame, girl.
All the top Star Wars friends in attendance. The comic call where security guards stand outside the different conference room doors to make sure no one eavesdrops, right?
Shit's real.
Oh no, I watched this one. I watched this one. Here, can we pause?
Pause it? All right.
Listen.
I paused right after she said Pix.
Okay.
Where are you at?
I'm at 104.
Okay. Hold up. Also in the call, but listening. ... We're watching this because, like, I was kind of for some reason I wasn't even following Geeks and Gamers. I think that YouTube fucking made me unfollow them or some shit because.
Oh man, you're breaking up really bad.
As far as I remember, as soon as I saw that channel, I hit shoot. All right, is it better now?
Yeah, it's cutting out a lot.
All right, hold up. Give it a second. Give it a second.
Maybe turn off your camera while you're running video. That might help. Bandwidth allocation.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I just got a message saying that I've already used 8 gigs of my 10 gigs of bandwidth or whatever. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm just going to have to pay for more because there's no way. Come on, are you kidding me? This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Connect your phone to your home Wi-Fi.
Well, I did, but my Wi-Fi, my home Wi-Fi is the reason why it was skipping like it was because it's awful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now I'm back on the home Wi-Fi because it's my only other option. But it's pretty. So listen, like if I'm not using my laptop, I'm fine. But I can't, have 2 devices running on my Wi-Fi at the same time, especially if I'm doing a video chat on one of them, without it being very, very laggy. So that's the thing. That's another thing that I'm working on. I need to get myself a MacBook, like because listen, I want to make a YouTube channel and I want to speak and I want to use my voice and I want to actually be real about this shit. You know what I mean? And I can't do that if I keep being subverted because of a bad internet connection or a lack of data or equipment that isn't crisp or clear enough to be able to just record my message. And all I want to do is just speak my mind. That's it. You know what I mean? And listen, that's a lesson I learned from Jay-Z. Every single one of his records, he's like, listen, I don't regret anything I said because it was just me speaking my truth at the time. And that's the way I want to look at my life. You can't have regrets because, listen, even if you do something stupid, it's what you felt was true at the time. And even if you were wrong, it was something you had to get out of your system. Right?
Yeah, that's how you get in the Illuminati, man. Right.
Oh, you're talking about getting in the Illuminati?
True story. All right. Well, all right. Are you saying you can't watch the Grace Randolph video then?
I've already seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I watched that one like several weeks ago. Because, well, first of all, I love Grace Randolph. I think she's great. I don't agree with her all the time, but she's probably like the only person that, let's bring it back to the main topic, right? Film criticism, right? She's probably the only film critic that I think is like the perfect balance between like legitimate like artistic film critic and legitimate like pop culture fan, because that's how I feel.
She's kind of milf-tastic too.
I'm sorry, what?
Milf-tastic?
MILF-tastic? How old is she? She's like what, 32 tops, right?
Really?
Oh, come on. She's not a MILF. She's yeah, she was probably like what, 19 when she started in like 2009 or something like that. Yeah, no, there's no way she's got to be like she's got to be pretty young. She's probably about my age, right? Okay, I'll look this up.
She's not your age, no. She's older than you.
Really? I mean, like, she might be older than me, but I don't think by much. I don't think by more than 4 years. Grace Randolph? She's not a MILF. Bro, have you ever had your vision checked? She's 31, bro. Like I said, within 4 years. I'm 28, she's 31.
That's MILF territory.
I mean, 30, yeah, I guess is technically MILF territory, but you know what, man? Like, I've known girls that were technically MILFs at 18, so, you know.
Yeah, so, you know.
It's a wide umbrella. It's a very wide umbrella. Where's the camera? There it is. All right, it doesn't matter because my camera's off, so I'm not even.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, yeah, I think, okay, so what I would love to see, so in Star Wars Episode 9, like early in the beginning, like I said, like Kylo Ren gets ousted. He goes to try to meet with Rey. Rey like sees that rage. She's got that white fire in her eyes, or that yellow fire in her eyes, and she tries to attack Kylo, but then like sees that he's unarmed, and then just disarms him, literally, by cutting off his hand. And I think that would be a beautiful, iconic moment, because it's just Rey being driven by her pure rage that has been hinted at in very subtle ways throughout the story, but not fully explored. You know, that's why Snoke or Plagueis was interested in her. You know, so that's why, like, when Kylo kills him, she feels drawn to that ring, and she takes his ring, and that ring contains his soul, which ultimately corrupts her mind, which ultimately leads her down the paths of the dark side, which is why even after her and Kylo have an emotional embrace where Kylo says, like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that life. You know, I'm moving on. I want to help you, you know. And they have this great big emotional moment while Rose Tico sacrifices herself to save them, because that cannon was literally pointed at right next to where Kylo and Rey were standing. But the other cannon goes off, and there's a massive explosion in the background. Because this time in this movie, I'm going to show Rian Johnson what it's like to have a beautiful moment with a genuine kiss in front of an explosion in the background that doesn't subvert the message of the film, and in fact enhances and uplifts it and its audience. Suck my dick, RJ. Fucking rat fuck. I need to write this movie. Because I think Reylo should happen. I think that should be a thing. And I think that after that moment, Rey should kind of like calm down a little bit. And then her and Kylo come on board, and Poe is like, what is this? And this time Poe gets to interrogate Kylo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know what I mean? But Kylo, I mean, obviously Kylo's like had a legitimate change of heart. And the only person we should really be worried about right now is Rey. Because what happens after all the confusion and weirdness, like, okay, Kylo Ren is here on board with the Resistance. All right, that's kosher, I guess. What happens is Rey has a vision in the middle of the night. Like, she sees, you know, maybe she sees Palpatine, or maybe she sees Plagueis, or maybe she sees, you know, something in the mirror, you know, and she's driven by this dark desire, and she knows she has to disappear. So she hops into an escape jet and disappears, and nobody knows where she is in the morning. Because, of course, Finn, being the good friend that he is, checks up on her to see if she's okay, but she's gone. And then he goes to Kylo, and Kylo is just waking up and says, no, but she's not here. You know, something like that, you know what I mean? Like he knows that something bad has happened and she's gone, you know.
Well,
So meanwhile, Hux and the Knights of Ren have taken command of the First Order. And remember, this film is called Rise of the First Order.
okay. Yeah. Why not? Well, it's kind of stupidly easy to write a good Star Wars movie. Like, when you really
Right?
break it down. Look how easy it was for us. Like,
Right, exactly.
talking about it. Like,
At least the main plot points. You know what I mean? I feel like dialogue and characters and things like that. That's all. That takes somebody who really knows material.
story that would be like the universe really is rich and ready for great storylines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're bastardizing it by trying to introduce this like alternative, like
They don't
quote unquote progressive liberal agenda, and
They're a bunch of cynical Hollywood hipsters. They don't really
cynical Hollywood hipsters. That's such nail on the head there, buddy. Nail on the head there, buddy. Because that to me is honestly what is killing Hollywood for me. I don't want to see these cynical, dark, drab movies anymore. Listen, it was cool when The Dark Knight did it because it made it seem like Batman could happen in New York. It made it seem like Batman could be real in Chicago. And you know what? It inspired people. Seattle. We had what's his name? Something Phoenix, right? Phoenix Jones.
Phoenix Jones, yeah, I remember that.
Real ass superhero in a costume who would go around chasing bad guys and apprehending them until the police could arrive and arrest them. You know what I mean? Like, this was a real life superhero. And I don't think he would have existed had The Dark Knight and or maybe even Watchmen come out. Because I think Watchmen, honestly, is underrated. People talk a lot of shit about Zack Snyder, especially these days. But I thought Watchmen was one of the best adaptations of a novelized piece of work
It's really
ever.
good.
Yeah, really good. I don't like some of the changes they made, because they made some actually you know me, I'm no fucking feminist, but some of the changes they made were genuinely a little oh, you're kind of making the woman be more of this cutesy little girl. And I think ultimately that, might be a little bit of a sexist kind of thing because she was such a cool, edgy character. It was sexist in a way that modern SJWs would not say is sexist. Probably they'd be I mean, she's not a bad girl. She's a hero. She's got to be God. She's got to be.
I really don't.
I'm all over the place.
Watch the movie again.
I guess so. But Silk Spectre or whatever.
Good shit.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I think Zack Snyder's, he's a director with a vision, and he knows how to make that vision come to life. I respect him so much for that. I didn't see Sucker Punch. I heard it sucked. But I liked Dawn of Justice. I really enjoyed that movie. I didn't see the theatrical cut, but the director's cut of that movie I watched, and I have a fun time with it because it feels like I'm watching a graphic novel come to life.
Well, Zack Snyder's kind of like a George Lucas type. He just needs to be reined in. He's got good ideas, but he's not carrying them through by himself. He needs other people around him to refine his shit.
Agreed. And funny thing is, that's part of the reason why I want George Lucas back in on Star Wars, because I think we need George Lucas and his wild ideas to rein in the current state of it all.
If that happens, Kathleen Kennedy will kill herself. I guarantee it. This whole Star Wars thing that she's been doing has been a rebellion against all the years of perceived oppression she's had, and spewing bitterness and hatred, and wanting to have her chance to fucking prove that she's better.
She wants her own Oscar award-winning movie made about her.
Yeah.
So she's pulling all of these wild dramatics to make herself seem like some kind of a folk hero. She's like, I was the first real woman in Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's basically what she's trying to say, And I've always loved Princess Leia. And I've always loved Padme is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars, period. I like her, on par, like within top
No, I
5 maybe
agree.
territory.
I think Padme gets a bad rap.
She gets such a bad rap, but dude, she's sharp. She's brilliant. She, she's emotional, but not like to a fault. You know, like she allows herself to feel emotions, but she doesn't let them rule her. You know, like I think Padme is such a great, female hero, and she does get a bad rap. You know, because she was kind of treated a little bit as like just this empty love object for Anakin, but that's really just the way that Anakin's dialogue was written. I think the character of Padme was way deeper than that. And I mean, maybe it wasn't, but the way that Natalie Portman brought it to screen was, because she had this like deep passion behind her. You know what I mean? Like, dude, she's got that Israeli fire. You know what I mean? Like, she's got that Gemini fire. You know, she's a Gemini too. So I love Natalie Portman, man. Natalie Portman, that's my girl. I'll watch any movie she's in.
Did you see Annihilation? I saw it. It was terrible.
I didn't enjoy it the first time I saw it. I loved it the second time I saw it.
Oh, really? That's what it takes? I have to see it twice?
Because the first time I saw it, I was so annoyed by how, like, feminist it was.
I didn't pick up a huge feminist vibes as
much. It wasn't huge, but it was a little pandering at times.
Yeah, it was just like,
exactly. There was a couple moments where they're like,
everyone in that cast was on Paxil through that movie. Like, everyone was just like, I'm so bored. I'm on the edge of sleep. Everything I say has a downward tone to it. And
that was part of the effect of the zone.
You guys are hypnotizing me into fucking sleep. Like,
oh man.
No,
bro, no. That's why I disagree with you. I disagree with you there because I think that was like a whole part of like the movie. That was a whole part of like where they were. They're like losing themselves. They're losing their sense of reality and identity.
In the fucking shimmer thing, like. That's just how they
No. I disagree. I think like at that like dinner scene where they're all at the table and introducing themselves, I think they're all very strong individual personalities with their own goals, and that's what. See, but I didn't feel that after the first time.
That scene again, and that one chick with the.
I have.
See, that's the thing. Is like falling asleep at the table. Like maybe some of the other characters had some life to them, but she was fucking terrible. I noticed that right away. And then
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Lady, she was like, she has that scene at the beginning of the movie, and she's like that. Her performance is like that through.
Oh, you mean Jennifer Jason Leigh?
Yeah, she was terrible. Oh my
God. Are you kidding me? Oh, she was great.
She was like, meh.
Dude, that was her around the same time she did her stuff for Twin Peaks, I think, or at least right after she did that. And she was fucking amazing in Twin Peaks, and she was amazing. Did you see Hateful Eight?
No, I didn't.
She was amazing in Hateful Eight. Man, Jennifer Jason Leigh, listen, she deserves a lot of credit. She is a very passionate, true actor who is willing to get down and dirty and gritty and get to the fucking bare bottom of a character. And I gotta love and respect her for that. And I disagree with the way that you perceive their character in Annihilation. I think maybe if you watch it again, you might feel a different way, because I think a lot of the things you didn't like about the characters is exactly the point of what they were trying to present as actors. Because the zone was this thing that kind of like ultimately was like a nullifier. You know what I mean? Like kind of made everything equal in a way. That's why she literally fights a doppelganger of herself in the end, which is like one of the coolest fucking sci-fi sequences you've seen in years. Come on. Don't tell me that wasn't one of the cool, with the music being like,
cool. Like,
you know what I mean?
Dumb. Like, it was obvious.
Oh, it was dope.
And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, oh, it's copying me. And it's like, duh. You didn't notice that from the beginning? Like, it took her way too long to catch on to it. I don't know. It was bad, dude. I didn't like it.
I disagree. I disagree.
It wrote me in with the concept, but then it just lost me. Like, it felt like no one gave a shit. It was like, we'll throw in some special effects, and that'll do the job.
I don't think you're looking at it the right way, man. I don't know, because to me, when I watched that, I felt like I was watching like a classic sci-fi moment that will be shown in like sci-fi, montages for years. Like when I watch that, I'm like, there's something special about this, and it's not just the visual. It's the sound, it's the performance, it's the look in her eyes, it's the way that creature looks, just kind of like this, out of this, like you've never seen anything like it. I loved it. I thought Annihilation was a gorgeous
That was a good
film.
part of the movie. Like, yeah, that was the only part I had any kind of emotion at all. But it was so
Dude, bro, what about when they're tied up in the chairs because that one chick, the one like super SJW chick, goes crazy, and it's like, you're fucking crazy, and then that beast, the bear thing, comes in and it's like imitating their friend.
Oh yeah, like that was the only cool thing.
Dude, there was a lot of cool things. There was a lot of cool things, bro.
That was
no,
it.
when that one girl. Nah, that's not it. There's a lot of cool moments, because remember that one girl's just kind of like, she's talking about science, and she's like kind of understood what's happening to her body and what's happening to them, and the fact that she's basically dying, and she just like walks out into a field, and then you follow her, but you keep losing her, and you follow her and you keep losing her, and then eventually you walk upon a field and you just see a bunch of these like human-shaped flower bushes.
Yeah, I know.
And you realize she's one of them, and it's like, dude, oh, come on, that's great sci-fi right there. That, like Annihilation, I think, had so many fantastic moments. It wasn't as good as Ex Machina. Ex Machina, I think,
I didn't feel like it was there.
Did you see Ex Machina?
Ex Machina? No.
You should watch it. That's good sci-fi. That's good sci-fi. That's Oscar Isaac, also.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alicia Vikander, who I love. She's probably my
Oscar
favorite.
Isaac is like the good actor that does bad movies.
Wait, what's that?
Oscar Isaac, he's like the actor that, like, he's a good actor, but he's cursed to do bad movies all the time.
I disagree. I think a lot of the movies that he's been in have been very good movies, or at least very good roles for him. Because the first time anybody really saw him was probably in Drive, and I didn't even really notice him. He was like, yeah, he was the dad of the kid who was married to Daisy. What's her name? Carey Mulligan. Her character. The girl with the little Mexican boy. And so he comes back, and Gosling's character ends up doing the deal with him, and he ends up getting killed because he's a fucking, incapable fuck anyways.
Huh.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's in that movie. And then he was in a couple Coen Brothers movies. What did he do? He did Inside Llewyn Davis. He was incredible in that movie. He sang, played guitar, very talented. And like very naturally portrayed this like poetic Dylan-esque, but like maybe a little less like batshit Dylan, more of like a grounded, like a Virgo or somebody like that. No, Oscar Isaac is great. He's done a lot of great. He's done. I've always enjoyed his performances. He's in that third X-Men movie. I haven't seen it. I don't really care about seeing it. I hate Jennifer Lawrence so much.
Dude,
I won't.
Man. I cannot watch anything that she does. She's so fucking repulsive.
Like I don't hate Aronofsky. I don't like a few of his movies, but like I'm purposely not going to watch Mother, even though Mother sounds like the kind of movie that I would probably love to watch and be like, oh hey, have you seen Mother? You know what I mean? Like, because you know me, I like all my crazy, weird, disturbing shit like Antichrist and Holy Mountain, and I guess like Jodorowsky in general. Lynch, all them guys.
Just watching Jennifer Lawrence on screen is so just uninteresting, and I don't care. And
I disagree, because like I enjoyed her acting like in Silver Linings Playbook, right? So I really liked that movie. Okay, I'm not gonna lie about that, and I don't know if I would still like it today, especially knowing just
Silver Linings
Jennifer
Playbook, is
Lawrence.
that what you
And
said?
go ahead, one more time.
Did you say Silver Linings Playbook? She was in that?
That's the one. Didn't she win Best Actress for that one, or was it for a different movie?
Silver Linings
But-
Playbook? I don't know, dude. Isn't that an old movie? Like,
Nah, that's like 2010, 2011, maybe.
was that before Hunger Games?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
right
I don't know. I never saw it.
before that. Yeah, it was her, De Niro, Bradley Cooper, and it was an Aronofsky film, and I think it was Aronofsky, yeah. And it was pretty good. Like I thought she was very believable as like this kind of like the crazy hometown chick. You know what I mean? The one that is like always hanging outside 7-Eleven and like all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like she that felt like a very natural character for her, and it felt very real. And I thought the performance was really well done. I thought Bradley Cooper did a great job too, playing this guy who was like technically bipolar, but like just really just kind of seemed like he had anger issues, and then De Niro was his dad, which is funny because like one of the first times you ever see Bradley Cooper's face in the media was when he was in attendance in the audience of Robert De Niro's Inside the Actors Studio. True story. So it's an interesting movie, and I liked it a lot. I bought it on Blu-ray when it came out, but like I don't know, I haven't watched it since, and I don't know. Fuck De Niro. I mean, really, dude, really?
I mean, yeah, fuck De Niro. I like Bradley Cooper though. Like he's a good actor.
Bradley Cooper's great, dude, especially as like not Rocky Raccoon. What's his name? In Guardians. I can't believe that's him. Like he just.
Right. Yeah, no, that's Rocket Raccoon. Yeah. Like he's the only good part of those movies. Like I don't like Guardians of the Galaxy. I know they're really popular with people, but I find them infantile and really insulting to my intelligence. I don't like
insulting to your intelligence. I hate that saying. Insulting to my intelligence. Fuck yours. Who ever created anything that had your intelligence in mind? You know what I mean? That's why nothing can be insulting to your intelligence, because nothing is attempting to be insulting to your intelligence.
No,
you know what I mean? That's why I hate that saying. Like I get what you're trying to say.
They're assuming like when someone brings you, like if I just walked up to you and handed you like a piece of plastic and I said, hey, this is a slice of pizza. You should eat it.
No. That's completely different entirely.
I'm insulting your intelligence by expecting you to believe that.
Listen, okay, here's what I will say about the Guardians films. I've seen the first two of them each once. Is there a third one? Is there a third film? Is that the one that is probably not going to have James Gunn because he's a pedophile?
Yeah, hopefully there's not a third one, but there will be.
All right, Disney's going to make it happen because let's face it, Disney's been pushing pedophilia since day one. So it's really just them getting their way at the end of the day, and they're just pretending like they don't care. And oh my God, I shouldn't be saying this on live because these are the kind of things that get you killed, that get you Clinton, that get you Seth Rich. That's a country song. It's a country song. I didn't write it. I heard it from somebody else earlier.
They don't need James Gunn to make Guardians of the Galaxy. Any fucking loser hat can step into that series and direct that movie. Like it's so lowbrow and stupid. Like
no. See, the thing is, you can tell that there has been a relationship established between the director and the cast, and just the cast alone, but especially with the director. Like, there's a reason why he was brought back.
Parties together.
Like, as far as the Marvel films go, James Gunn has probably been the most hands-on director out of all of them since Jon Favreau. And the first time
he's only hands-on because they have a daycare.
Well, Ooh. Listen, man, I don't know. All right. I'm not there. I don't really know. I know there's a lot of shady shit that happens there, but I don't think it's fair to assume it's happening to everybody all over the place. But let's just say that he's not doing a very good job at backing himself out of that corner. So, like, even though he has the support of you know, Chris Pratt, who I really dig and respect. I've met him before. You know, I met his family. I met his mom. I met his brother. And I'm pretty sure I met like one of his other brothers the other day at this hotel because there was like a firefighter that looked exactly like Chris Pratt. I'm like, and he talked exactly like Chris Pratt. I'm like, you look like you could probably be a Pratt. And I probably should have said that because he probably would have been like, oh, well, funny story is, yeah, I am. Because they're a Washington family, so they're all over the place. They had like a Lake Chelan hoodie on or something. It was in Wenatchee.
Oh.
My job takes me places. I have a weird life. Anyways.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, listen, I enjoyed the Guardians films. I didn't really dig the second one. I thought what they did with Kurt Russell was interesting, but ultimately kind of fell flat with the overall storytelling that was going on. Because I didn't really ever care about Star-Lord, you know? I thought he was fun to hang out with, but I don't really give a shit that, like, he was meeting his dad, and his dad is technically a god, and I thought it was kind of crazy and very comic booky, which is what gives it its fun, you know, which is where a lot of these movies get their fun, like Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
like that's why I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, the movie failed at showing like the heaviness of what they were telling you.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you're a god, isn't that cool? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it felt like it was actively going out of its way to not feel heavy, you know, to not be emotional, you know, like it kept subverting deep moments with silly jokes, which is a trait that I've noticed with a lot of Disney produced films, you know. So, I mean, specifically Marvel, but it's gone its way into Star Wars now, and I'm so worried about Episode 9 because like in general, like the audience hated Episode 8 because it didn't feel like Star Wars, and it should honestly be retconned. And I'm sorry, I know it's Carrie Fisher's last performance, but like, listen.
That's what they need to do. They need to retcon it. They need to make it so everyone wakes up in Episode 9 and the whole last movie was a bad dream.
I mean, no. What they need to do is to pretend like Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi never happened and let J.J. Abrams direct Star Wars Episode 8 blank, whatever he wants to call it. That's what needs to happen. We need to realize, like, okay, oops.
You need to get J.J. Abrams out of there too. I can't get on board with that.
Okay, like I was saying earlier, like I wanted highbrow directors like Denis Villeneuve because like what he did with Blade Runner was gorgeous, but like yeah, maybe it's a little too highbrow for Star Wars. Like maybe we need somebody with a little bit more flair. Maybe we need a Guy Ritchie, you know, but like Guy Ritchie like toned down. You know, because he's from London. They shoot in London. They shoot every single one of those movies in studios in London. You know what I mean? Why not get a British director to come in and tell a Shakespearean operatic tale? You know, I mean, he's done Sherlock Holmes. He's done excellent crime dramas. He's done, you know, like...
Nicholas Meyer is still alive. Why isn't he directing movies? Okay.
Michael Mann.
Yeah, Michael Mann. Why isn't he doing this?
Wouldn't that be an inspired choice? Michael Mann directing...
Michael Mann doing Star Wars? That would be interesting. I'd be all for that. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that would be a really good matchup, actually.
Isn't that kind of an inspired casting? Or not casting, but, you know... I mean, think about it, right?
Yeah.
At this point in his career, like, it kind of makes sense to kind of... maybe jump not off of the deep end, because it really doesn't have to be that much of a deep end. The setting is different, but the story for the most part can be the same. As long as, okay, if he directs it, as long as you have like some real true blue production designers that believe in practical effects and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But you get somebody like Michael Mann to direct it, you're going to get a very tightly knit, beautiful, intense drama.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what Star Wars should be. You know? It's an opera.
Yeah, I never bought into the whole Star Wars is for kids bullshit. It's really not. Like, if you look at the best of Star Wars, it's pretty dark.
I mean, a son getting his hand cut off by his own father.
Uh-huh. Right?
How much darker can it get?
He understands characters, drama, and he can direct a fucking badass action scene like no one's business.
Within the first 30 minutes of the movie, the lead hero, the only family he knows, he finds them dried up, burnt to bone and dust.
Yeah, is that a kid's movie? Like, come on. That's not a kid's movie.
That's not a kid's movie. Star Wars is a sci-fi drama. And you know what? And Disney has had balls before. You know, Disney's done Bambi. Disney did Lion King. You know what I mean? Like, Disney's not ballless. You know, Disney can be bold. You know, Disney's done some crazy shit that, like, you know, other studios probably couldn't even get away with. So why not take Star Wars? That's why I was so, like, I'm like, wow, Episode 7, huh? It's really going to happen. And Kathleen Kennedy, oh yeah, this girl, well, look at her. She worked with George and she worked with Steve and she was on all these movies as a producer and an associate producer. And whoa, what a resume. Oh, this is going to be great.
It was doomed when it got JJ to direct. I'm like, the only thought I had in my head was, thank God, finally Star Wars fans will get revenge for supporting the rape of Star Trek. Like, now they're going to get to taste J.J. Abrams' raping of their franchise.
I know, and you shouldn't have felt that way because I don't think that Star Wars fans were actively feeling that way. And if any of them were, they were probably just fucking SJW fucksticks. No, because
listen, warning signs. Like, you can't go around saying, you know, it's okay to ruin Star Trek because it appeals to me, and then suddenly it's okay to ruin Star Wars because it doesn't appeal to me anymore. It's like,
dude, James, I don't know about you. I did not hear any Star Wars fans saying that about Star Trek when it came out.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? For 5 years, it was nothing but, I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I love this movie. And it just boggles my mind. I'm like, can you not see the problem here?
Wait, about which one? About the original Abrams film or Into Darkness?
Yeah, about Star Trek 2009 and all the sequels. And, you know, like, if you're walking into someone else's house and saying, you know what, I always hated what you did, but now that you changed everything that you did before to appeal to me, I like it now. That just makes me want to punch you in the face. Like, and so when it happened, and Star Wars fans said this without irony. They're like, oh, now I like Star Trek because it's about big, flashy, boomy things and chicks taking off their clothes and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? J.J. Abrams is coming for Star Wars, and he's going to fucking ruin it. And I was absolutely 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the guy's a fucking hack. Like, he claimed to be a Star Wars fan. He's really not. No Star Wars fan would keep a reunion from Leia, Han, and Luke from happening.
Exactly. Listen, yeah, if you loved Star Wars and your job was to create Episode 7, the one that we've all been like dreaming up in our heads since we were 7, you know, or younger, you know, since whenever we got them VHSs, you know, of the special edition. You know the one? It had half a Vader, then it had half a Stormtrooper, then it had half a Yoda, and it was the trilogy of VHSs. And on each of them had the main poster for each of the movies, and it was iconic, and it was classic, and it was unadulterated for the most part. Palpatine was still the original weird-ass, like, heavy makeup effects, like, old woman or whatever that it was.
There was no, like, explanation for his Force lightning.
Sudden change? No.
He was just this mysterious old fucking weirdo that had crazy powers. He had no idea what he was capable of. That's what made him scary. It's like, oh my God, you can do that.
Exactly. That's why, to me, it always sounds so stupid when the media is like, and fans are upset that they never got a backstory to Snoke. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about his backstory. I care about what his purpose in this story is.
Exactly. I think people misconstrue that. It's like, it's not that we wanted a backstory. We just wanted him to have a story. You know? Yeah. Like, introduce this guy and he does absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Just because he's there and he sits and he talks and he kind of taunts people a little bit
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that he has like a character or an arc or a purpose or a drive or anything that makes him interesting. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he's powerful, but like, what are his true motivations? What does he really want? Well, you know what? We don't know.
It's just lazy writing. It's like, we're going to write this badass, and, oh, we don't know what to do with them, so let's just kill him. Okay.
It was
And
just,
then, boom. And no one's ever going to mention him again.
it was just one morning. You know what happened? I know what happened because I can read people's minds and I can see into the future and I can see into the past, so I can tell you exactly what happened.
Introducing a new segment where Dan reads the future.
Yeah, it's like some Plan 9 shit. You know what I mean? I remember that guy. You know, I forget his name, but he was like the guy who could like, you know, see into the future. But no, here's the truth. Here's the truth. So here's what happened. Wait, what was I talking about?
Exactly.
No, really. I really want to. Was it about Luke? Was it about? It was about Star Wars. Episode 7. Episode. Oh man, what is it?
Well, and you know, J.J. Abrams is a hack, and
Well, I don't know. I felt like it had a
punches
significant.
pregnant women.
I feel like I had a significant point to make, but I fucking lost it.
Yeah, that sucks.
It does sucks. It sucks, James. You know what it sucks?
It'll come back to you though. Like everything that loves you, it will return.
Oh, so is that why nothing's ever come back to me? Oh, look at Dan. Poor Dan. He's never been loved. Oh, look at that poor
Hey, don't
faggot.
feel bad. The only thing that's ever come back for me is acid reflux.
One time when I was supposed to get $2 in change, I got a $20 bill in change. So I voted for Obama because that was some change that I could believe in.
Well, hey, sometimes things work out.
Really, I was hoping for a laugh. I was really hoping for a laugh.
Well, no, we all.
Because as you know, I'm not even a real citizen, so I can't vote. So, haha. You can't hate me for voting for Trump because I did not even actually vote for Trump. I just would have voted on him, as Kanye would have said.
Immigrant 20.
I'm a Russian bot. I'm a Russian bot. What can I say? Yo, so I got on Tinder again recently.
You don't count. You don't have the right skin color.
Right, I'm not a real immigrant because I came over legally.
Yeah, well, and you have white skin.
And I'm white.
So you already have privilege. That means.
And I speak American. I speak American. Have you noticed that?
We live in a completely backward society where privilege means nothing.
Hold on, that was all choppy. Where privilege means what? Go again. And wait, hold on. Wait, no. Don't speak until it's clean. Don't speak until it's clean. It's still dirty. Still dirty. Clean. Go.
All right. Privilege is, it just means no one will listen to what you have to say because of your skin color. That's privilege. We live in backwards zodiac bizarro world.
No, it's true. People are looking for problems to make problems. They're so like, okay, listen, I get it. When you go to college, you want to be something important. You want to be like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to da 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 da. But that mentality has now turned into, I'm going to go find a problem where there isn't a problem and make it a problem because it sounds right.
Because I'm an activist and I help people.
Because I'm an activist and I believe in words like this ism and that ism and blank ism and this ism. You know what I mean? People have their own little like network of like these isms that they use to say that their actions are okay because they believe in these isms. And you can punch a Nazi in the face, you know, and da da da. Wait. So that like old man with the MAGA hat and the cane
Mm-hmm.
that you punched in the face was like a Nazi. He was like a threat to you, and you thought it was okay to punch like a fucking 70-something-year-old person
Well, yeah, Nazi is
in the
just
face.
a convenient term to dehumanize people. That's it.
Anti-fascism is the new fascism.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I think that's why so many people are starting to be like, oh my God, wow, what the fuck is happening? And they're realizing like, oh shit, maybe Trump is right. You know, like maybe we should try and make America great again. Maybe like I get it. Maybe Kanye gets it. Maybe like these people who I thought were crazy are actually the fucking smartest people on planet Earth. And there's a legitimate paradigm shift happening. And we can make it happen if we just fucking let it happen and let the old way die out. Like, that's the fucked up thing. The thing is, the main message of The Last Jedi is 100% something I believe and stand for, and is so much of the reason why I wear my MAGA hat.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think that there's an old system in play, and it's time for it to die out. And it's not just in our politics, it's in our media, it's in our culture, it's in, you know, the things that like, and we're starting to create these things on our own. We're starting to use our own mediums because of the strength that we have, because of our online platforms, because of social media. So social media, yes, while shallow and vapid and is actually ruining a lot of like American culture, at the same time is also one of the most powerful tools in being able to empower the culture and to change the way that people think. So the thing is, like, that's what you have to tap into. You can't, it's not about CNN or ABC or Fox News or anything that you're going to watch on your TV anymore. It's about human beings who are dope, who have shit to say that resonate with you. It's not about fucking Megan Trainor ass. What's her name? Megan Kelly. You know,
Uh-huh.
fine ass blonde. Like I'd
Right.
take her out any night. Don't worry about that for a minute. But listen, she's just a little puppet,
Mm-hmm.
little figurehead, a little mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Newt Gingrich. He's written great books. He said a lot of things I agree with. He's just a little puppet, little mouthpiece, little, you know.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these GOP folk, all the DNC folk, all the GOP folk. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want gone. I want a new Democratic Party. I want a new conservative party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fuck
it all
it.
needs to be.
I don't want
rebuilt.
I don't want Democrats and conservatives. I don't want liberals and conservatives. I want free thinkers. I want people who are you know, because I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a conservative. I say I'm a conservative because I like the things that Candace Owens has to say. Because I like what Ben Shapiro has to say. You know, I like what Tommy Lauren has. You know, I mean, like, I agree with these people, so I wave that flag. But am I really a conservative at my heart, in my true principles and beliefs? Not really. It's just that's the side that I'm kind of like, if we're going to have to pick one or the other, I'm with them, you know?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
And I think a lot of people feel the same way as I do, but they're too afraid to say that because they feel like instantly by saying that it means that you're aligning yourself with the KKK and you're aligning yourself with neo-Nazis and you're aligning yourself with, people who beat up queers and all that. But, you know what, at the same time, being anti-Muslim is being pro-gay, if you look at it that way, because Muslims hate gays and throw them off of roofs because of their religion. Their religion tells them that to be gay is to be against God, and it is a sin, and you cannot do that. And if you are a true Muslim, it's okay to kill a gay person.
Well, and that's always
what the Quran teaches.
Contradictions of the political left right now. Like, another great one is, they want the Second Amendment to be completely regulated and ultimately repealed, but at the same time, they're the ones telling us that cops are racist and
exactly
and over militarized. And
right. Oh, exactly.
Like which way do you want to have it? Do you want to have
Yeah.
an armed populace that can keep the government in check, or
Or do you want an armed government that can keep the populace in check?
Uh-huh.
Or do you want equality all across the board? Because this is a democracy and people have the freedom to own weapons if they want to own weapons,
Mhm.
to protect themselves if they want to feel like they need to protect? Why do you think celebrities put walls and cameras around their house and
Mhm.
hire security guards?
with
You know,
guns?
I've been to these houses, bro. I've been to high profile people's houses, and like
Mhm.
they'll take your ID, they'll scan your shit, they'll fuck. You know what I mean? Like it's a process. It's not just like going over to your buddy's house. It's like, yo, you're basically meeting the president. You know what I mean? Like that's how they treat it.
Mhm.
And it's just somebody who's like had a big TV show or made a lot of money, or you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
like that's how it is because they've been able to afford that kind of a lifestyle.
Mhm.
And here they are saying that we have to subscribe by that manually, but not be able to have that afforded to us as a luxury when we want to protect ourselves. Now,
Yeah,
doesn't that sound a little bit like population control?
a little bit. You know, it's pretty insidious if you ever break it down.
That's why I absolutely support the Second Amendment. I support, you know, I support Americanism. I
Mhm.
support everything that our country was founded upon. You know, yes, we are a melting pot. We're the most beautiful place on earth because look at us. We have everything. We have deserts. We have damn near jungles, basically, if you go to New Orleans. You
Mhm.
know, we got canyons, we got mountains, we got beautiful beaches, we got snow, we got rain, anywhere, you know what I mean? Like we have everything. America is one of the most beautiful places on the planet Earth. And and on top of it all, we have the freedom to express ourselves however we want to express ourselves. So we can go to any of these beautiful places and engage in any kind of form of expression that we want to engage. But you know what? When I go out wearing this pink MAGA hat, I don't wear it like this.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
You know how I wear it?
No,
You know how I wear it?
no. Oh yeah. Well, you don't want to get beat up.
I'm not a very confrontational person. I'm just very passionate about the things I believe in. And you know what? I know that by wearing this, there's a lot of rhetoric out there that tells people that I deserve a punch in the face.
Yep.
And listen, glasses are not cheap. And
Hmm.
I don't make all that much money. Like I've had a busy summer, but like man, that's only really gonna hold me over to like November. You know, like come on.
Well, yeah,
Like
man. And
brother's got to have a living, and like I'm not trying to like go through any other kind of like additional suffering, but you know what, people love to put you know to put other people down,
mm-hmm.
especially right now. Like listen, I worked with a girl. This was so funny. This girl, oh, this is such a great story because I worked with her on Twin Peaks. This is on live, so if anyone wants to connect the dots, you can connect the dots, but I'll tell the story anyways. Fuck it. I worked with this girl on Twin Peaks, and I remember her very well because I thought she was a badass PA. She was dope as hell. She was very good. She was tall, um, you know, pretty sexy, pretty sexy. She's got like a sexy look in her eyes, like a model. You know what I mean? Like a Hawaiian. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? She had a good look. She had a good look. She was tough as hell, smart as shit. And the only reason I didn't like her was because she hadn't seen any David Lynch. And I'm like, we're on Twin Peaks. You haven't seen any David Lynch? You kidding me? Anyway, she calls me a few weeks ago, a couple month ago maybe now. Work for a job. I know why she's calling me. I was drunk a few nights earlier. I messaged a certain girl. Blah 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 blah. We both know who she is. She knows who she is. I know who she is. And if you're listening, you're gonna figure it out too. But I don't care because it's my life and I just do what I do. And I ain't got no friends, so I'm just gonna do it on live for you, all of you, not just you, James, but whoever decides to watch this. Now, 10 years from now, a couple of weeks from now, a few hours from now, maybe even right now. I don't think. Who
So,
knows?
what happened?
Got hired for the job. And I overheard her talking about the person that I replaced. And she said something along the lines of, "Oh, well, you know, he's a straight white male. He'll be fine."
Of course. Everything's always easier for us.
Right. And then I kind of looked at her. I didn't say anything, but I looked at her, and I hope I looked a little bit confused, because I definitely felt a little bit confused, because I'm like, wait a minute. Like, you know, I'm white, right?
You really did that?
And straight? No, well, I didn't say that, but I said it out loud for comedic effect, because, like, yes, obviously I'm white, but, like, wouldn't it be funny if the thing that I'm focusing on is not the fact that I'm straight, but the fact that I'm white? You know,
Right.
like, you know, I'm white, right? You know, it's something that I've done conversationally and in situations that has proven to both be challenging and effectively hilarious. Black people love it. White people hate it, because white people are racist against black people if they're liberal. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Listen, all right. I'm 28 years old. I first left my house when I was 19, and I ran away to LA, and I lived in this crazy fucking house out in not Glendale. I wish it was Glendale. The Armenian girls. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Granada Hills on Leahy Street. It was 17420 Leahy Street, and we were apparently a block and a half away from where Robert Englund lived, which is amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was a skinny little white kid on Adderall, on my last jar of Adderall, getting drunk and high with all these people I didn't know, that some of them were white, but most of them were black. And it was my opportunity to finally break out of the suburbs and, like, learn black culture from black people who grew up in, like, deep-rooted black culture, you know. And I was 19, you know what I mean? Like, this is something I should have learned, like, when I was 13, you know, because of how prominent it was in our pop culture. But, like, I lived in a suburban bubble, you know what I mean? So to me, I could be like, nigga, 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 nigga with all my friends and not even bat an eye, you know? But, like, nowadays I realize, like, if I were to just, like, you know, karaoke something and start saying nigga, like, I'd be like, dude, what does this guy think he's doing? You know, like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that guy. You know, I'll say it now in context because, like, you know, it's just conversational. It's just, I think it's necessary. And I think that alone, like, we need to just be able to conquer, because, you know, people talk about, like, not giving power to that word. Well, you know what? Then how about let's talk about it in context, like adults. That's a good way to take away power.
Well,
you know, you can still give it power in a affirmative and positive way, like, I love you, my nigga. You know, like, as a white person, I don't think I could or should even be able to say that, you know, and no other person of any other kind of color, I feel like, should be able to say that. But for some reason, we feel like it's okay for Latinos to say it, and sometimes Asians trying to get away with saying it. And I'm like, I get you guys are, like, technically minorities, but you're not black. Like nigga comes from negro, which comes from negra, which comes from the color black that we know. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird because, like, I feel like minorities want to use it as, like, a rallying chant, but at the same time being, like, something that, like, white people aren't allowed to use or say. But I think if you really want to use it as a rallying chant, you want to be able to allow your white brothers and sisters to be able to use it as well, right?
Yeah, you think so, but there's no logic to it. It's all.
I mean, like I said, I'm just a white male, and this is all but my opinion on the situation. But, you know, like, because I grew up in the suburbs with a bunch of white kids that listen to hip hop. Like, we would, you know, we'd put on Biggie or Wu-Tang, and we would all get in a circle and rap along every word. And we didn't care, you know, because we were just having fun, because we just loved the music. We just loved the rapping. We loved the way that it felt when you would rap. you know, like that's what it was about, you know. And like, so yeah, I'm not black, but like when we were 17, 18 years old, like we'd say nigga because like those were the words to the song, you know, like you know, like, and I don't see that as anything that could ever be found offensive. You know, to me, that's like a young girl stumbling upon a picture of like, you know, like a young a young black girl, let's say, a young black girl stumbling upon a picture of like, you know, ancient like Greek, you know, robes and fashion and style, and then like finding things in her house, like towels and stuff. Because you remember being a kid. When you're a kid, you're so much more creative. You're like, oh, okay, I don't have this, but I have something that's kind of similar to this. So I'm gonna use this towel, and now I'm gonna look like a Greek goddess. And then I know my dad has those like Adidas sandals, so I'm gonna put those on, and I'm gonna feel like I'm a Greek god. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, you just find whatever you can find and make it real for you in your own mind. You know. But when you're an adult, you try to find a way to paint that for the world, right? You try to express it. If you don't just bottle it up, most people just bottle it up, and you know, their Peter Pan goes to sleep, you know. But then you get people like Michael Jackson. You get people like, you know what I mean. And I know it's probably not the best example to make because of his controversial lifestyle, but at the same time, I think Michael Jackson is the best example to make because of his controversial lifestyle. You know, because these are people who are misunderstood, who in the time period were looked upon as heathens, when like after further like research and understanding, you realize like these were just deeply damaged people who like needed healing in a kind of a way. And if you listen to the work, if you listen to the words, if you pay attention to the art, you get a better sense of it than anything you could probably from like a verbal interview, you know? How do you feel about that? I know you probably have some very, very personal feelings about that. So I would like for you to respond to that.
Well, I don't have too much specific to say about Michael Jackson in general. I think we have a problem as a society of just idolizing people that have been put on pedestals, and we don't apply the same standards for our neighbors that we do for these people in great power. We'll totally excuse something that, I don't know, like suppose someone makes a song we really like and then they rape a kid. It's like, well, you know, it's not that bad, you know, because we like that song that they made, but they still raped the kid that was victimized. Doesn't make a difference to that person. You know, how good that song was or how you feel about
James,
it.
I'm going to have to cut you off right there because I think you're really kind of minimizing the issue here, because I don't think that anybody thinks like that. You know, I think if it has ever gone to that level of...
They absolutely do think that way.
No, because I think if it has ever actually gone to that level of extreme, like, for instance, the guy in that band Lost Prophets. Have you heard about that? Have you heard about this guy?
Mm-mm.
The lead singer of some, like, early 2000s pop screamo emo band, right? Something that I would have been into, but I wasn't because they were too fucking corny. And you know what? I guess I had good intuition, because the lead singer of that band, there were literally pictures of him with infants.
Well, yeah, you know, it's a sick culture.
You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen it, but I've heard the fucking court reports, and that's all I gotta hear. And you know what I mean? Like, this guy's clearly a fucking evil person that needs to be locked up and put away. So no, I will never ever be listening to their music. But on the same token, you have somebody like Triple X Temptation, who I never really listened to his music, but I heard that he had like beat his pregnant girlfriend, and then he died. He was killed over a Louis bag in Miami, you know, and he was 20 years old, young kid, killed. and a bunch of people were on the internet glad that he died because he beat his pregnant girlfriend and da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. Because listen, if Black lives really matter, why are so many black people so ready to hate on this poor fucking 20-year-old who is now dead and does not have the ability to defend himself and his decisions? Like, listen, it's a terrible thing to beat a pregnant woman, especially the woman who you impregnated. That's like easily one of the worst things that you could probably do. But that's not to say that this guy, I don't know his story. I don't know what he has been through. I don't know what kind of hurt he has in his life. And if you listen to his music,
games and won a stupid prize.
Right.
It seems like a neatly wrapped up bow where things worked out exactly as they should have. So, you know,
Right.
Fine, whatever. Like I'm not shedding a tear. Sounds like a piece of shit. Whatever. Like,
and see, a lot of people have that attitude. But to me, I'm like, bro, he was only 20 years old. Like, he still had the opportunity to fucking look at his life.
Let me guess. You liked a song he made, so therefore.
Nah, I hadn't heard any of his music. I'd heard his name. I knew that he was like a figure in like modern hip hop culture, but I thought he was just like another like trap rapper, you know, like 21 Savage or like you know what I mean? Like I thought he was just like some bullshit like basic fucking rapper. But then I listened to his music after he died. This is all after he died. Like I didn't listen to a fucking thing he did.
Hey, you know, at 20 years old, don't beat up their pregnant girlfriends and they don't get shot during fucking rap person bullshit, you know? So, you know.
Yeah, but James, at the same time, a lot of 8-year-olds.
Normal rules. This isn't your neighbor. This isn't your brother. This isn't someone you know. He lives in a completely different universe.
But that's the thing. That's exactly the same reason why I disagree with you. Because James, you don't know what kind of life this person lived. You don't know if when he was 8 years old, he was raped by his uncle. You know what I mean? Like you don't know like what kind of.
So if you get raped, you have no agency when you're growing up. Like you still make choices.
No, I don't think it's that you don't have agency. I think it's that you will do things that are hurtful and harmful. But like. I think ultimately, like, if you are genuine and if you have the capacity to understand that, like, you are hurt and you need to change and you want to actually do something about that, I think it's possible for people. I've seen it happen to people.
Sure, it was
you know
possible, but not for him, clearly.
Why? Because somebody decided to kill him over his Louis bag?
Yeah. You know what? How many times have you been threatened over your Louis bag? In your life?
Well, I've also never been a famous rapper.
But you know, we make
James, that's the thing. That's the thing I'm saying. No, but the thing is, but at the same time, it's so easy for us to judge other people when at the same time we don't understand what it's like to be in that kind of a position. And when you are in that kind of a position and you have all of these issues and all of a sudden you can do whatever you want.
You sound like a feminist.
Why do you say that?
Because you're irrationally defending like someone who's clearly evil because they had problems in their life. Like that's exactly what feminists do. They're like, oh, well, sure, she stabbed her husband 36 times while he was asleep and poured boiling water on his face. But you know what? She was raped when she was 8, so she had a rough life. We shouldn't convict her. Like that's what you're doing.
No. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is, the fact is he's dead, and there's nothing we can change about that. But I think he was young enough to the point where like he still had the opportunity to change like the person that he was. But the thing is, he kept falling down that hole, and now has just become a lesson for everybody else to learn from. You know, and maybe in that way he's more powerful as the artist that he is. But honestly, after listening to his music, I'm like, man, this is an artist. This is somebody who like had a unique vision and sound, and you know, I had a lot of love and appreciation for what he was doing. Like, I don't care. Like, listen, Chris Brown, I hope he rots in hell. I don't care when he dies. You know what I mean? But bro, that Fame album he put out in like 2010 is fire, start to finish. Every single one of those tracks is beautiful. It's either dope ass R&B or fun ass like club pop music. You know what I mean? Like he just kills it start to finish on that record. But you know what? I would never ever go to one of his concerts or pay for one of his records because what he did to Rihanna was reprehensible.
But you know what? A lot of people still do.
A lot of people still get tattoos of him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women.
Yep. We have this fascination with people in the spotlight. We feel like they're gods. They're better than us, and they are not held to the standards of you and I and everyone else.
Before we had pop culture, we had the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you rather be interested in?
Well, it's like asking me what would I like, a pile of shit or a pile of diarrhea?
What do you want to vote
That's
for?
not a choice.
A Republican or a Democrat?
That's not a choice.
It's not a choice. Republican or a Democrat? That's not a choice. I don't want neither.
No, it isn't.
See what I'm saying? The world isn't built for choices like that. The world is built for this or that, you know?
Well, we as a culture need to get over our love and fascination with people in power. Like we're still basically we're just like the fucking British and their love for the Queen, except our Queen happens to be, you know, whoever's the pop culture icon of the week.
Are you suggesting a little bit of that good old-fashioned Bernie Sanders social democratism? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, little Alexandria. I think she's done. I think she's
No,
yeah, I don't
no.
think they're gonna push her anymore. I think she
No,
said so much stupid shit that they're just like, oh boy, we can't support her anymore.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you know, like either, okay, honestly, you know what I think is going to happen? Honestly, I think we're just going to keep stomping. I think us fucking elephants are just going to keep stomping through the fucking jungle. And we're going to keep killing all them fucking stupid liberals. We're just going to keep crying over fake-ass dumb shit like Russia, which doesn't mean a goddamn thing because Russia is just another country in the world. And
well, you know,
no
it's funny. If you ever break down
collusion.
what the whole Russian interference was them exposing Hillary Clinton's sabotaging Bernie's candidacy. Like that's what the Russian collusion, like that's what the Russian hacking was. That's what it was. They fucking hacked the DNC server and discovered that Hillary was playing dirty with Bernie. Like,
okay, so remember the reason why Mark Zuckerberg had to go in front of Congress and be grilled for like a few hours?
well, yeah, because of that Encyclopedia Britannica group or whatever.
Cambridge Analytica, but yeah, Encyclopedia Britannica, basically same thing. But how many other people actually remember the name?
I didn't, clearly.
You didn't, clearly, right? That's the thing. That's how they fuck you up. You know, nothing was going to happen to Zuckerberg. It was a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
They're just going to grill him. They were going to have some great sound bites. You know, what's his name? Zodiac Killer was going to say some stupid shit. Ted Cruz.
Fucking Ted Cruz.
Yeah, you know, come on. It was a fucking dog and pony show that led to nothing, that amounted to nothing. You know that it was all just a big media spectacle.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was really all to distract from the bigger issue. The fact that Cambridge Analytica was in cahoots, not just with, like, Trump supporting parties, but the fucking DNC directly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that was the big story. But what happened to that story?
Like, oh, no.
It got diverted to Facebook. Oh, Facebook did something bad. Oh, but Facebook, we're going to do better now. Oh, okay, well, Facebook's going to do better. So we're fine. We're back to normal. We're back to the simulation. We're back to the coffee tables.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know, Kanye was right, dude. And I hope more people watch that interview because there is not a single word that Kanye said that was a lie. And it's 100% why I feel the way I feel right now. I feel like we finally have the opportunity to really change the world. I remember there was a song that came out around the time that Obama was running for president, and I think it was either a Nas song or like Nas was on the song, and it had samples from Barack Obama, and he said shit like "change the world," you know.
Yeah.
And now in 2018, in hindsight, in context,
Yeah.
it's depressing. It's
Yeah.
depressing to listen to the hope and enthusiasm of the black community as they were about to be disappointed more by a black man than the white community has ever disappointed them.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a stretch. But for real though, one thing I think Kanye said, but it's like, yo, listen, when you have like your person, like as the leader, like, isn't he going to do a little bit of something for your team? You know, like, come on, bro. You finally get a black person in the office. Like, how about we help some black communities, huh? Like, how is Chicago doing in 2018, huh? Obama, after 8 years of your own hometown,
Not so good. Not so
more
good.
black lives are being lost every day in Chicago than there ever have been by any fucking white cop in America. Every day. Every day. But what are we mad about? Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Yeah.
White cops are bad. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. I'm a white person and I care about black people. No. You don't care about black people.
Well,
You care about
you support
appearing that you care about black people. You don't really care about what happens in the black community. You care about what happens to your reputation because of how you represent yourself in front of the black community. But the truth is, you don't care about what happens in the black community. If you cared, you'd probably actively be trying to say something to change it.
Look at any map that shows the percentage of majority of black deaths, and then compare that map to what political party controls that area. It's always Democrat.
It's always Democrat, yeah.
Like wherever black people die and suffer the most, they're always Democrat controlled. Why is that?
Well, because it's inner urban areas, it's cities that have lost control of their lower income population, and who would so much rather just watch them fucking all kill themselves off instead of actually have to do anything to pay the bill. You know, let them all try and find their own burial grounds. You know, give them the drugs, give them the guns, let them kill themselves. That's been Reaganomics since day one. You know, and which is funny for me to say because, you know, Trump has been compared a lot to Reagan, but I think he represents the more positive side of Reagan. And I think he actually more genuinely cares about making black communities better because, hey, it makes business better for him. You know, let's make America great. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't Trump want to make America great again? You know, why would he want to collude with Russia for anything aside from like getting dirt on the Clintons, which they've already admitted to, which is like come on. The Clintons have gotten so much dirt on Trump already.
I know.
It's like, why is it even a fucking issue?
All's fair in love.
It's so stupid. Yeah. It's so stupid. It's all a big nothing burger and a shit show and a bunch of nothing. And Trump is perfectly innocent. And we're going to have 8 years of him setting this country back on course and getting us further and further away from the globalists and the evil agenda that has been consuming our country like a cancer. Because that's truly what it feels like. It feels like our country is being consumed by a cancer, and that cancer is modern day liberalism, progressivism, this idea that like you have to be this and you have to be that. And like, no. I'm sorry. I like my women to be women. Yeah.
There's two genders. Sorry. But hey, Trump 2020. Hoo-ah. All right. Well,
the whole world, everything is changing.
We're on steam here, so we should start wrapping this up here.
All right. So what have we learned today, ladies and gentlemen? So we've gone from Star Wars to Trump to Lord knows what else.
Well, we've learned that Star Wars can be fixed.
Star Wars can be fixed, and it can be easily fixed by a couple fucking nitwits like you and me.
Yep.
You know, because you know what? All it takes is a real, genuine love and passion for the story and for the characters, and then professional execution on behalf of the production. And I think that's entirely possible if you hire the right people. But they've been hiring the wrong people, and clearly that's been the case, as so many people have been fired or let go or have just fucked up entirely. The whole thing has been a mess. And I think it all, honestly, ultimately does not square on the shoulders of Bob Iger, because I don't feel like Bob Iger was really very much in control of what really happened here, because I feel like the reins were really taken by Kathleen Kennedy, because at the beginning of this whole thing, she really put herself up front.
Mm-hmm. She did.
She was really like, look at me, I'm making Star Wars great again, right?
And then she disappeared right after The Last Jedi.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her, right?
Yeah, it was like in May or something for like the premiere of Solo or something, and that was it. That was like the one appearance she made.
Wait, she was actually at the premiere of Solo?
I don't remember. I remember she just did a brief like 30-second like, you know, talking to someone, but basically, yeah, she's been a non-entity since The Last Jedi came out. Whereas you're right, before she was all over the place. Her face was everywhere.
So that's the thing. We just need to bring artistry back to Hollywood and to mainstream filmmaking. And I think that's kind of the direction that we're starting to go into. We're starting to realize that like this kind of, you know, outdated machine-like mainstream media Hollywood isn't going to fly anymore. Nobody cares about the next Transformers anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, like what we want is something fun that'll distract us from all the crazy shit that's going on in our daily lives, and that isn't like, you know, we've gotten so stuck on apocalyptic, dark, gritty since Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like, I think The Dark Knight has had its run. It's been literally 10 years since The Dark Knight has come out.
Yeah.
Let's start making fun movies again.
Yep. Yeah, there's room for both, and it's gone too far in one direction. We need to keep balance.
Yep. So after this, watch the Predator trailer, and then that can be something we talk about next week, because I think it's one of those few things that is trying to bring culture back to this fun, silly 90s place where we can have a trailer voice that says coming this September 24th in a really deep and intense voice.
That was
you know what I mean?
That was good, man.
Yeah, thank you kindly.
All right, well, on that note, let's go ahead and close this out.
Let's close it out.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this conversation. We'll see you next week or something.
I hope so.
Peace, love, dope.
Thank you all.